What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am your caster, X-Struggler. Joined alongside me is Byron Villa. For this game, it's going to be DV versus WSLA. Deja Vu taking on World Saves Lives Academy. So far, Deja Vu are 1-1. World Saves Lives Academy are 2-0. But strength of schedule could mean that we don't really know where these teams lie. Byron, what's your predictions going into this one?
Well, I mean, both teams, they are looking incredibly strong. I am feeling a DV 2-1 here. But it is going to be a close series. As soon as you put it 3 games, you're kind of saying it's going to be a close one. And like you said, both these teams, DV, a worse record, but a tougher schedule. So the question is, are WSLA actually up to scratch in this top 3, top 2 kind of battle? Or has DV fought off the worst teams first, as in the strongest teams first? And now are they facing an easier opponent? We'll have to see as the bans are underway.
Vi banned away from ISO was very unexpected against a team with kind of 3 main champions you tend to see banned against EV in the Diana, in the Ezreal, and in the Nara or something else along those lines for Junju in the top lane. So maybe that's disrespect going to one of them. I
Well,
think
you've got to keep in mind that this Ezreal is contested between both AD carries. Both Yetz and Franklin love to play this pick, so it might be that WSLA want to put some priority on that on their end of the draft and try and take that away from Franklin, whilst also securing Yetz some comfort himself.
And in the early game, we very much expected those 2 bans. The Darius taken away from Slacking, very much a one-trick pony up in that top lane, and the Nico away from Festive, simply based off his OP.GG. It seems like his main champion, and both of those solo lanes being taken away from a team which we can only imagine is going to focus topside.
Yeah, and as you see, the Caitlyn coming in as a ban, clearly affirming they either want Franklin to pick this Ezreal or they're going to take it away themselves. But Jarvan for Ice Arrow will be that first pick.
Makes me quite intrigued as to why they banned the Sivir if they were definitely going to take that Jarvan at the very start. Interesting drafting style there from Arbush, but it's a solid jungler, good in the early game, can scale quite nicely in team fights too, and that's a nice little answer with the Rakan.
It really is, and Zyra Khan could be a strong option if they try to opt for it. I mean, Jarvan is a typical Ice Arrow pick, really. He does like those engaged champions where he can really dictate what's happening in the map in the early game. But Zyra Khan, I love out of Yetz and Stronger because realistically, the mid jungle is the strong point of Deja Vu with Ice Arrow and Lollyful taking over a few games, whereas WSLA are going to be looking to attack through the side lane. So getting that priority lane in Zyra Khan going to be so useful, but you do let that Ezreal through when you pick Zyra Khan, and now it's in Franklin's hands.
Yeah, I mean, Zyra Khan, really strong 2 versus 2, but there's a main AD carry that can stop it, and there's quite a few supports that can too. Ezreal, the perfect AD carry to stop Zyra Khan doing what it needs to do. And what supports are great against Zyra Khan? That's Leona and Nautilus, and they're 2 big champions in Majordan 2 or Harshi's pool. So they maybe have to put their bans in that direction, but the Gnar, blind pick for Junju, a comfort pick, and that's answered by the Urgot from Slacking, which is very much a similar champion to Darius, I'd say, and should hopefully do relatively well into the Gnar, at least Slacking presumes so.
Yeah, I mean, Sakin does like those big Bruiser picks, and initially I look at Gnar into Urgot and I think, well, maybe Gnar can escape that, but the difference is Urgot does also have a little bit of range himself, so it isn't going to be as easy as cutting out a Darius when you're against that Urgot, and knowing Slacking, I do have a lot of faith in him as a top laner. I've seen him destroy some people, so Junjo going to have to be a little bit wary in this matchup where Urgot can start snowballing out of control very quickly.
And that is the Nautilus banned away from Harshi. 1 of 2 that I'm expecting. I am expecting to see Leona banned as well, as it is a good counter into that Zyra Khan. We're starting to see what these drafts are looking to do at the moment. We're seeing a lot of priority for the side of World Saves Lives Academy. And we're seeing this kind of team fight scaling mid-game comp on the side of DV. But that's the Echo banned away from Fool, who is a very much AP assassin kind of player. So you can understand that one.
Yeah, what I really like from Deja Vu's picks right now is it seems like they've acknowledged the fact that their side lanes might be where WSLA are looking to put priority, because with Gnar and Ezreal, they're both very safe picks in that top and bot lane respectively, and it means that if GuiJ wants to target those lanes, those ganks are going to be harder to make happen, whereas they've been able to also give themselves a Jarvan, meaning that they can dictate how that jungle goes and look to what I'm expecting to happen is, camp mid.
Yeah, I mean, WSLA have been able to save their mid lane for counter pick by locking in that Skarner jungle. One of the few champions that can actually get onto an Ezreal if Franklin can't position correctly. So I do like that pickup. They've already got the engage with Rakan. Now it's about seeing how DV looks to close out this draft and make this all come together, link together. And it's all about what Fool does in this mid lane, as you say.
Yeah, it certainly will be. I'm also interested in what support they pick, and it will be that Morgana. just so much safety from Deja Vu here with the Ezreal and the Morgana in that bot lane. It's going to be so hard to make plays happen versus that bot lane Joe, and it's so easy to get punished if Stronger makes one misstep. That binding comes through, you're stuck there for a year, and there you go, you're donezo. So I do like that pick into Syndra, one of Lollyful's favorite champions. He does like these burst mages, and having that, I mean, Syndra does not have a lot of bad matchups, so being able to pick that blind, very smart, and Java and Syndra as a 2v2 is incredibly scary to go up against.
Definitely so. Syndra, one of the best blind picks in the mid lane at the moment after the recent buffs and nerfs to Koki and Azir. So that one's a nice pickup, answered by the Ari for Ward Saves Lives Academy. Big thing for me now is how can Harshy actually perform on this Morgana? We know he's not got the best ping, obviously playing on EU West and not being in the west of Europe. Those Black Shields have got to be on point. If Rakan's hidden in a bush, goes for the charm, knock up, grand entrance, sorry, onto Harshy or onto Franklin, are they able to react fast enough? Yes, in theory, this lane should be safe, but it's a lot about execution, and it's really putting Harshy's mechanics to the test to see if he's actually able to do that. And I don't know, from what I've seen of him myself, I don't know if he can do that, but I'm well up for being proven wrong.
Yeah, very much so. Now, as we start heading into this Protect delay, we can have some time to just look at the competitions as a whole, seeing what they want to achieve in this game. Deja Vu very much seems like a mid-game spiking composition. Syndra, Ezreal, Nah, Jarvan, they're all champions I consider to spike in that mid-game, and the skirmish potential of that team is going to be huge. Just imagine the Dragon skirmishes, having a fight there, Nah TPs to the back with Mega now available, Syndra bursting down one of your backline members, Ezreal dipping and dodging out the fight, and that Jarvan having a fantastic engage on him. However, on the other hand, I see WSIA's composition and I see that those side lanes are going to be under a lot of threat. Ari not only going to be that slippery mobile champion anyways, who's able to move about the map, but also opting for the teleport means they really do want to move Festive around the map and make side lane plays. I'm expecting a lot of focus to come either to the top lane or to the bot lane. And with a Skylar and Ari alongside, whether it'll be an Urgot or a Zyra Khan, that dive potential is going to be huge. So WSLA, they're going to be looking for the side lanes like, to make those dives happen. But Deja Vu, that mid lane, Festive's going to have to be so careful because the Jarvan and Syndra combo can delete someone easily.
So Syndra's actually opted for the cleanse here, Byron. What's your opinion on this one? Because we all know that suppressions don't get cleansed away, and that's kind of what Skarner's ultimate does. Do you think this is the right pickup for Full?
It very much is if he was anticipating the Ignite coming out from Festive. Against Ari, being able to have that cleanse against the Charm is still incredibly useful, despite the fact there's still a Skarner enemy team. And so I am quite a fan of this pickup myself. However, Festive has opted for the teleport. And if you knew that in advance, that's when I'd say the cleanse is maybe a little bit too much. Not Fool isn't going to have that burst potential anymore that he would have extra with the Ignite. And so my worry is that Festive could get out of this laning phase unscathed, when really it should be he's the one who's kind of under the pressure when it's his side lanes who'll be getting a lot of that jungle attention.
Another thing for me is the fact that Franklin's not taking the teleport on the Ezreal. Really, you only need heal in bot lane at the moment if you're going to play like a 2v2 skirmishing fight in bot lane. Yes, Zyra Khan's going to look to do that against you, but I don't really know if Ezreal wants the heal here compared to the TP. You want to be able to get those backs and play around his spikes. For me personally, I don't like the pickup, but we'll see if he's able to utilize that and if they're able to win the 2 versus 2 or at least survive the 2v2 and use that as a clutch summoner. Obviously, knowing that Rakan's going to take Ignite kind of removes some of the usefulness from that. But we'll see as we get into game. But before we do, Byron, what's a lane to really focus around for you? Where do you think this game, is going to come to a head, and we can see the advantages snowball?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think there are definitely two lanes. It's the side lanes that are important. But I feel like Ezreal and Morgana is so safe that they can deflect a lot of what Yetz and Stronger are going to try and put out on the Zyra and Rakan. However, my lane to focus on will be this top lane. Jonjo, he's on that pick on the Nah. He loves his pickup. And so we're expecting him to hold steady. However, slacking, big Urgot player. I'm imagining him to try and snowball this matchup himself. And so there will be a lot of focus around this top lane matchup. Will Slacking be able to break down Jonjo's wall of range? Will he be able to get some jungle attention going out top side? I'm expecting that to be the pivotal point. Because like I've talked about, mid lane, I'm expecting Lollyful to come out on top of, and bot lane is going to be kind of negated with that Ezreal Morgana existing there. So the top lane certainly going to be the most explosive coming into this game, and will likely be the one that decides the game, depending on how it tips.
So here we go then, loading into game. This is Deja Vu taking on Ward Saves Lives Academy. Deja Vu having beaten Vigorous Beta and losing to, I think it was Sons of Capri, so 1-1 in the standings so far against two top teams. Ward saves lives against the bottom two in Windhowl and Hensai Haven, really looking to prove themselves against Deja Vu in this one. They are playing this best of three now versus what we think is going to be a top team versus arguably the biggest sandbagger in the league, but that's still yet to be decided in Ice Arrow in the jungle. How much can he look to do in this game? Can he get John Joe ahead on his comfort pick of Gnar, and can he make sure that Lollyfool gets ahead on this injury? These are the questions that we're asking coming into this one as we load into game. Byron, last chance. Who's your prediction for winning this first game?
Okay, looking at the compositions, I like both. I'm going to edge myself towards Deja Vu. I like the fact that they've been able to negate, I think, in terms of champ select, the way that WSLA are going to want to play around those side lanes. They're bringing in the Gnar, which is a very safe pick, very ranged, can stay out of Slacking's kind of all-in potential. And then Ezreal Morgana, I couldn't really think of much of a safer bot lane than that. They're going to be so hard to engage on, and it's going to be on Yetsun stronger. Can they make those plays happen in the bot lane versus such a passive lane? And that, like I detailed at the start of the game, WSLA, they want this side lane kind of priority, but can they get it versus those safe kind of champions? And I think Deja Vu, they've drafted smartly. They have the setup to execute on their mid-jungle priority, kind of what we're expecting them to play through. The question is, really, can they fully execute on that plan? Or will they get pranked, as we've seen in this Smash?
It's just a prank, bro. They're looking maybe to see if they're going to invade. Quite often you see teams go through the mid lane and path downwards when on blue side towards that brush. They're stacked in as 5, maybe looking to get the pick. We know Zyra Khan can both take W, be very strong level 1. And I'm expecting them to try and go for a kill at the start. Interestingly, Rakan's opted for the Spell Thief's Edge, when really he can go for the coin or the Spell Thief's Edge, depending what he's going to look to do in that lane. So he's going to look to try and play aggressive based off that that item. No wards placed at all, just that one defensive ward by Harshy, not trusting his reaction times there. And we'll see how these teams look to start. Based off what these teams have done so far, based off what we've seen, do you expect Franklin and Fool and Ice to really put in the carry performances? Because for me, John Joe's not really shown that so far. He's lost lanes a couple of times, he's talked about it in scrims, and it's now going to be up to Franklin, who's on this comfort pick of Ezreal, I think, for me, to try and carry this one. And we especially saw that in the game against Vigorous, which is on stream.
I mean, yeah, sure, Franklin can have a lot of impact on that Ezreal. The issue is that Ezreal in VL, I feel like he's sort of a trap card. It has a lot of safety in it, but the champion can be very difficult to execute at times. And in a league like VL, that execution can cost a lot of the time. I think, like I talked about earlier, the focus is going to be on mid-jungle. Lollyfool is a strong laner, and from what I've seen of Festive, he is quite a shaky player in this mid lane. Could be caught out by a couple of kills, and Ice Arrow on this Jarvan will decide this early game, very much so, with the amount of engage potential he has with that flag and drag. The question is, where's he going to gank first? Where his option is going to lie when he plays this Jarvan? Because he can gank every single lane realistically of WSLA. The question is, where will he go first?
Couple of trades in the top and in the bot lane. As we say, John Joe on this comfort pick, flacking on one of his more comfort picks, obviously not the Darius. We'll see who comes out in that one. But I'm really not liking what I'm seeing from the bot lane of WSLA. They've got such a strong level 1 compared to such a weak level 1. Obviously, yes, Harshy can try and land a binding to stop the engage, but realistically, you can just run in, press W on both these champions and try and pick up like a huge advantage in lane. And they've both got out of it with full health, almost full mana as well, and equal on CS. So that's going to kind of set up this Deja Vu bot lane to be as strong as it needs to be, scaling in towards that Trinity Force or Iceborne Gauntlet, depending what items he goes for. Both junglers starting bot side, pathing up top side. I'm intrigued to see how early Ice Arrow starts this kind of early game pressure that he should be putting on his Jarvan. The guy can gank level 2, he can gank level 3, and he can gank up continuously for the rest of the game. And we've seen him when playing on Xin Zhao, he's not had that much of an impact. So that was especially in the game against Vigorous that we saw on stream. And I definitely want him to look to try and do some more. He's pathing towards bot side, going to go for this scuttle, but bot lane, is definitely in a gankable position, especially on an immobile AD carry like Xayah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Yetzel stringer right now, you need to, I would say put down some wards, but I've just realized they both placed their wards, but none of them are covering the river right now. Fest is taking a bit of damage, but Ice on bot lane because Ice Arrow, he sees a gank potentially happening.
It's coming in there, flash forward from Harshy, but nice from Stronger there to get away. Yes, also burn his flash in response. But trading support flash for AD carry flash is definitely a good thing. If Jarvan can look to punish this lane now, it's going to be a huge advantage for Deja Vu.
It certainly will be, but now they know he's around. Festive needs to be careful, does not have much mana.
Full didn't take Ignite and could have been absolutely clutch there, but he's definitely showing Festive who's the boss in this lane.
Yeah, he certainly is. And top lane still going surprisingly even. I was expecting Saka to have a little bit more, you know, that oomph happening there, but still, it's UEJ who's been focusing on clearing. He hasn't ganked a lane once, but he has fully cleared his jungle. Pushes, where does he go now? I mean, you've got no camp, so you can't really gank any lanes right now.
Well,
and he really should be backing.
He's got Predator, he's not back for those early boots. He's just, I think, trying to just maximize his experience efficiency here as Camp's looking to respawn and might just go from Gromp to Wolves. Maybe even take Raptors after that, unless he goes for the recall after the Wolves. Not really sure, but he definitely wants to get the recall in, definitely wants to get level 6 as soon as possible, and that's when he can start making these plays. As you say, get around the mid lane, get Festive ahead and take those to the side lanes, as it's definitely a strong diving comp, as you said previously. And there's the recall coming in now from Gibby J. Obviously mistimed my my camp respawn timers there. But a full reset from the bot side of the map. Jarvan's still around bot side, going to take his recall too, but we know that Yetz's flash is still down. If you aren't punishing these flashes, there's no point getting them in the first place, and it's definitely what you want to do. If you get Franklin ahead in this bot lane, the lane that shouldn't really be winning, then Jesus Christ, you've set yourself in a perfect stead to win this game.
Oh, you really have. Like you talked about, side lane priority so important for the side of WSLA, because they have the winning top lane with Urgot and they have the winning bot lane with Zyra Khan. If you're not ahead on Zyra Khan, then come the mid game, you're not going to be strong enough. Just really, you need to have that priority in the bot lane to be able to fully use the potential of the Zyra Khan combo. Because the reason you pick Zyra Khan is because they combo so well together in this lane. They have that extra mobility. They can make engages happen from screens away. Use that potential. But right now, we're not seeing it from them. They're almost playing it passive, like they're scared of the Ezreal Morgana, when really it's the Ezreal Morgana who are one of the safest lanes in the game.
In the top side, Jonjo doing a fantastic job of pushing and slacking, who's now got no mana, so he's not going to be able to clear this wave out, and that's put him in a very, very unfortunate position for, I should say, a lane that should potentially be winning this one. But there go, Ice Arrow on Gui J, finds the potential. We can see mid lane roaming towards them. Festive uses ult, but doesn't land the charm. It's a nice knockback from Full, but doesn't land the stun, and Festive is able to get away with his ultimate. Full flashing forward, is the ultimate going to kill him? It is! It's first blood for Lolly Fool in the mid lane. Nice reaction there in the 2 versus 2, and that's what you said this game was all going to be about. Fantastic there from the side of Deja Vu.
And what a surprise, the mid-jungle duo of Deja Vu are able to secure that first blood for themselves, catch out Gui J when really he should not be taking that Scuttle Crab at any point, or hanging around that area. He gets took down very nicely, great flash forward to use the Unleashed Power from Lolly Fool. That will secure that first blood, and now the gold lead will start to swing in Lolly Fool's favour in this mid lane. The Age of Dawn though!
Finding misses, but yes, managed to get the pullback from the E, and the Blade Caller is able to take down Hashi. That is absolutely fantastic from the bot lane. They finally get it. Not really much credit to Stronger there, but yeah, it's finding the pick, and Hashi completely mispositioning on this squishy champion. This is why you've got to play tanks, my friend. That is why you've got to play tanks.
Yeah, you cannot be mispositioning like that versus Zyra Khan, because like I talked about earlier, their engage can happen from screens away. You need to be so careful, but despite the fact that we've been able to secure the kill there, look at the CS differential. It's still in favour of Franklin by about 11 CS, and in this lane, that cannot be happening. You can't be letting your opposing ADC have that CS. You do need to be pushing them off every single minion that you can. And they're just not doing that right now, unfortunately. We
are seeing WSLA getting advantages in every single lane that they are playing in at the moment. It's now to continue this pressure. We know that this Skarner is about to hit level 6. He's going to have that ultimate available to lock down a carry. But we can see now Syndra, or Jarvan especially, pathing towards the bot side. Are we about to see another play now they've got their ultimates in the jungle?
Yeah, the question is, will we? Because now Jarvan and Skarner could meet themselves again around this river. And we know what happened last time they met in the river. It was not good for Gui J.
We can see now Jarvan going in onto the Skarner, but able to get away. The Zaya's flash timing is still down. Cataclysm will ensure that she is knocked and stays into that Cataclysm, but at the same time, Syndra used flash to get the kill. That could be a spot for Gui J to go on, but Jonjo potentially going for the first the solo kill in the top lane here, getting a lot of procs, getting the passive, is able to go into Meganar, has ultimate available, but nice EQ flash from Ice Arrow, but Festive is able to ultimate away, still in the top lane. Jonjo pushing down, slacking, nice flash to stop that knockback. Now can he get the kill? The stun goes down in the final auto attack. I mean, that Jonjo gets a solo kill, really nicely played from him, but Ice Arrow unfortunately not able to get the kill onto Ari, but now goes onto Gui J, contested Raptors camp. Fool is coming up too, but in the end, Gui J looks like he's going to be safe and saved ultimate as well.
And all of a sudden, WSLA start to crumble across this map. Mid lane is forced out lane again. Look at the CS differential. About nearly coming up 20 CS difference in that mid lane. Great to have a lot of fun. He will also be securing some placings for himself. Then top lane, Slacking, who should be the one winning this matchup, goes down to Jonjo. Great play by the Gnar there. And that's going to secure Jonjo not only a decent CS lead, but also a more placings for himself in that side lane that we were expecting to start winning out. In the bot lane, Deja Vu now have a 20 CS lead against a Zyra Rakan. That should not happen, ever. What's going on there? And overall, because of all these advantages that are starting to snowball, look at the goal differential at the top of your screen. It's 2.5k at 9 minutes. Wow.
Certainly not the best start for World Save Lives Academy, but some would argue their late game team fighting is slightly better, considering how hard Ezreal is to execute in these team fights. Especially when you consider the elo of these guys. I can't bloody play Ezreal, so I can only imagine that Franklin's not going to be able to absolutely pop off on this one. So it's seeing what they look to do, but a key thing is, for me, is the fact that World Save Lives Academy got a counter pick in both top and mid, and both of these lanes are now hard losing. There is a CS advantage, there is the kills advantage, and really now it's on Gooey J to make sure that this doesn't snowball any further, and Lollipop continuously getting these good trades in mid lane.
Yeah, very much is. Lollipop is looking so strong on this Syndra, and it's the fact that, you know, he was able to link it with Vice, secure that kill, and now priorities had just been huge. And Gooey J, he can't make anything happen. I think that's the first gank I've seen from him the whole game, and we're 10 minutes in. That just can't be happening when you're against such an active jungler like Jarvan.
Yeah, I think there was a time in the bot side jungle where Jarvan was able to burn the flash of Gooey J, and then because he was level 6 without the flash, yes, he has Predator, but what lane can he really get onto? Yes, he's got Predator, but Jonjo can just hop away. Lollipop's got the knockback, and Franklin and Harshy are just so safe in the bot lane on this Ezreal and Morgana, so he's found it tough, and his lanes aren't helping him. They're not supporting him, but the all-in from Fool in the mid lane. Drops the ultimate. Is he going to survive? He just about is. One more Q would have done it, but he's able to get away. That charm was so clutch in stopping the damage coming through. Nicely played from Festive, but once again, Fool getting advantages in this mid lane. He's now 30 CS up almost, but Ice Arrow comes in, dunks on his on the enemy mid laner, and that's a Cataclysm burn for a nice kill for him, and that's an assist picked up for Fool as well.
And this is going so perfectly for Deja Vu. The jungle focus down mid lane has helped out Lollipop so much. He is now 30 CS up, getting more playings for himself, and this lane lead is snowballing so hard against an Ahri who really should be having a shot at this matchup, especially when you consider it as a counter.
Especially so, Slacking looking to try and get the trade, doesn't throw Jonjo under turret, and now Jonjo's going to be able to get away with that passive, with that movement speed advantage, and Slacking's not having fun in this lane that he chose.
Yeah, he certainly isn't. I mean, Jonjo is taking about similar damage to Slacking in terms of the poke, but Slacking just unable to have that impact that he really wanted from this top lane. Gooey J looking to make something happen, but has been spotted out by a ward in the Tribush, so I don't expect him to be able to execute any gank here.
Maybe waiting for that Mega Gnar to go down then. He has the flash and ultimate available if he wants to try and get that one sorted, but with Slacking shown top lane, Ice Arrow knows he can freely go into the bot side, but is also shown on a ward. Maybe this is the time to look for Rift Herald, for something top lane. No, in the end, Slacking decides to recall. What's the play now, Byron? What are you expecting from particularly Deja Vu? You said this is a mid-game spiking composition. How do they make it spike? Are they still waiting for items, or is there a time that they need to force objectives?
Well, right now they have priority in a lot of lanes, so use that. I mean, you have super strong members. Like this Syndra already has a Luden's Echo at 12 minutes. Use that alongside that Dark Soul and the boots that she has, and now bring that pressure down to an objective. We're using the. I think the Dragon's a good spot right now. Slacking is taking a lot of damage from this offset, by the way, but.
The charm goes down from Fool, the ultimate comes down as well, but Festive's still alive. The flash forward from Fool, misses the Q. Ice Arrow misses the EQ. I don't even think he dropped T. He did in the end, but Fool's able to use that W to chuck that ball on top of that Ahri and pick up a kill for him. And Jarvan able to pick up the assist with the E passive. Very nice from him. Slacking now coming down towards the bot lane. Not going to look for a lane gank. In the end, just going to recall. Let's just say not a lot done from him. Not enough done from him. And this mid lane jungle synergy between Lollipop and Ice Arrow that we've spoke about this game has come in absolute clutch to make sure that they get first turret before the turret platings even fall. So much gold in the pockets of Lollipop now, who has 5,800 gold compared to the 3,400 gold of Ahri. To put that into context, that is 2,400 gold advantage for the mid laner of Lollipop for Deja Vu. And now how much can Fool carry? That's the question.
Oh, and I imagine very much so. We've seen it in a lot of Deja Vu games, Lollipop just popping off alongside Ice Arrow. That's how they secure their wins, is through that very strong mid-jungle duo. And now they can look to put their pressure elsewhere because Syndra is going to be able to push in Ari so far up this mid lane, meaning things like this dragon should be free real estate. However, you know, WSLA, they are aware of this and they want to take away this Cloud Dragon before Deja Vu can get their hands on it.
Slacking just hovering around the Rift Tower as well. I think he went for it, but in the end, maybe just the vision, getting control over those neutral objectives. We need a way to get back into this game, the shot caller says, and they've done that there by taking a Cloud Dragon. If anything, just an additional way to escape the all-ins that Deja Vu are looking for at the moment. Now, how do they look to play around the map? They've taken mid-turret. Let's get that deep vision now, Deja Vu. Let's make sure we've got controls and able to dive these side lane turrets because they're winning. They're doing really well, but we'll see how this one ends up.
Yeah, because right now you look at what Deja Vu have. I mean, at 5k load lead, 5k gold lead, sorry, at like 15 minutes, you should be winning that game like 10 times out of 10. So now the question is in Deja Vu, how are they going to execute this double? Because they have all the pieces set in motion. Now the dominoes are falling. You've got the Syndra, who's 2-0-1, has that huge item lead. Ice Arrow is now going to be able to use the gold he's received from mid lane ganks and use it across the map. For example, in a top lane gank that it seems he's eyeing up right now. And really now it's about whether or not he's going to be able to fully execute on.
They had vision of Skarner. Fool is walking in, lands the Q, but can't get the stun as Skarner is able to flash over the wall. Slacking looking for an all-in on Jonjo, who's about to hit Mega now, but might not even need it because the final auto attack on the passive is able to get it. Then flash Jonjo? What? But he's able to get away anyway and is able to take that solo killer. Slacking is forced to burn his flash again and still not use his ultimate once in this game despite being nearly 16 minutes into this one. Yet he has the pressure now on his shoulders. He's got to be the one to carry and get some advantages in this bot lane that he really, really should be getting advantages in. And that's another top lane turret for Deja Vu.
Yeah, I know. It's just, it's so, I mean, in my opinion, this game falls a lot down to Gooey J. I feel like Slacking has had a very tough time in this top lane. He fell behind super far. Festive has been destroyed in this mid lane. And the bot lane of Zyra Khan is still down 20 CS, despite the fact they have a kill advantage. You know, even Franklin has a bounty when he's 0-0 now, and that should not be happening. But Gooey J has been so inactive on the map. I mean, sure, his flash got took away as soon as he hit level 6. But still, you need to be making these ganks happen. You need to be alleviating some pressure off of your laners because it's clear that, you know, without this jungle pressure, they haven't been able to do much. But now Gooey J, he's finally making a move.
Stronger popping the quickness as well. Can they get an ultimate? They do. Onto Morgana. The Black Shield's already been used. Stronger able to get away, but Jonjo now looking to try and get the kill. Franklin 1v1 against Gooey J with a support of Harshy. Actually, Jonjo now trying to chase down the Xayah. One auto attack's going to get it. The Q's not going to be able to pick it up. Nice blade call is going to stun them. The Smite is actually able to take down Yes. Now they can't place him on the turret, but in the end, Jarvan's going to fall down. Jonjo continue with the chase, but it's now tanking turret. The Black Shield's not going to protect you from that physical damage turret, but in the end, it's a 2-4-1 for the side of DV, and they may be able to get the turret. In the same time, though, Urgot's top lane.
Yeah, I don't think this is the end of this play right now. Frantic and Megalon 2 still looking to push down this tower, and I can imagine with the poke, could be looking to force a kill, possibly. Lollipop still hanging around. This 3v2 tower dive could happen.
He has now been spotted. The charm misses. The Q misses, which means the W proc doesn't land either. The stun misses from Lollipop, drops the ultimate, but Gooey J is still alive. I don't think they've got the damage now to take it. Unfortunately for them, they're not able to get the turret. They're not able to pick up those last few kills. And in the return of that, Slacking's finally able to get that first turret for the side of WSLA. If you're not winning on one side, try and win on the other, and in the end, he gets that turret. At least it's something.
Yeah, I mean, smart play by Slacking to sit in the top lane, just get that push, get as much gold as he can secure whilst Jonjo is spending some time in that bot lane. He's not going to be able to back and secure something with that 1k gold he's been able to accrue. But still, I mean, WSLA hanging in there, but not a proactive play by any means, and it's still going to be Deja Vu who are in the driver's seat for this game. You see right now, Lollipop and Ice Arrow sticking together as this duo, and they're just able to force so many plays.
The Charm from Festive, but no all-in.
Oh, he gets in stronger, looking to secure the bot lane tower. I don't think they're going to be able to, though, and Eyes on Ice Arrow, he's looking for a play, but the wards are there, so Gets in stronger should be fine here. Question is now is, all these strong members. I mean, Jonjo's looking incredibly strong on this now. You've got Lollipop, who's 2-1, Ice Arrow 3-1-2. They have a lot of power across this whole map. The question is now how they're going to use these gold advantages, and I hope they use them to secure objective after objective. That's really what you want to do right now. ISR looking to put some pressure on the bot lane, but just going to help push out.
Yeah, it does have his ultimate available, but no flash, which means if that Cataclysm comes down, he is done for. The Rift Tower's been popped, but are we closer than Syndra? This could be a 4 versus 3. If WSLA can take this fight correctly, it could be clutch. They've been spotted on wards. They know how this is going, and they intelligently back off. And unfortunately, that's just a waste of the Rift Tower. Maybe it was going down, but once again, Slacking going for a play on Jonjo, but Jonjo's won them every single time, and now that passive's going to be procced. The movement speed's coming in. There's no turret there to protect you, Slacking. This one's only going to go one way. The Q misses, but I don't think it matters as the movement speed comes in. The Slacking, he flashes. It's not going to be enough, but the Q hits a minion and slows down, and Slacking is going to end up safe from that one. I'll call that one lucky, my friend.
Yeah, Slacking is a lucky man to get out of that. Loryfall needs to be careful, forced to flash away.
Tries the all-in on Festive, but Festive able to escape. The ultimate comes down and Festive is taken, has flash available as well. So unfortunate there, no vision, didn't see it coming, and that means a free Drake for Deja Vu.
It does, and this mid lane lead is still holding so far out of control now. That's not just the 20-30, that's a 50 CS lead for Loryfall alongside the kills, alongside the tower, because he's sitting on a 3k gold lead just in that lane alone. Loryfall is completely took over on this Syndra and is now looking to push down the mid lane tier 2, completely uncontested right now.
Garner has Predator and Flash available, pops it onto Jonjo, who's about to hit Mega now. Slacking just trying to get as much damage down as possible because he does have his ultimate. Are they able to take this one down? The stun comes down into Urgot. J tries to get his stun but doesn't get the ult either. In the end, Jonjo might be able to escape from this one. 2-man stun. No, I think this one's done as the ultimate comes down from Slacking and that guy is taken down. Nice return kill there. Gonna get this Urgot some gold that is desperately needed for this side lane. But there's been 4 turrets taken now from the side of Deja Vu towards WSLA, and is this still comebackable?
The issue is that they spend a lot of time with J putting that pressure top aside, getting that kill onto Slacking, which is very important to getting back into the game. But whilst they're doing that, they leave both their mid lane and their bot lane completely unprotected, and they lose 2 more towers. And 1 shutdown on a Gnar is not going to be worth 2 towers at this point. I feel like it's going to be very hard for WSLA to try and stop the bleeding. I do like the fact they're trying to make plays, which is very important as we see them positioning around this mid lane. Also, we're looking to force his priority. Oh, the flash forward though, completely shut down by a great use of the Syndra E.
Nicely played, but they only sent Ezreal down to the bot lane, who had no chance of defending against Yetz and Stronger. They were able to take that kill, and this is kind of where you want to be for WSLA. Now, you've taken the side lane turrets, you can now look to group up without really losing anything. You can have the side lanes having kind of a pressure towards the enemy side lane turrets. And if you play around that intelligently, if you get the wards, they clear the wards like they are doing now, and they have consistently had good wards in this game. You can see at the moment they've got good defensive vision on that bot side, which allowed them to get that bot lane turret. If they can play around this, they might be able to get something started, but the engage tools that Deja Vu have could happen in an instant. Yeah, what's your call now for Deja Vu?
I mean, Deja Vu, you can start positioning around this balance, to be perfectly honest. You have, I think, across the board, you have 5 champions who are stronger than their counterparts right now. This is the mid-game power spike, and all your champions are far ahead, which means you see, Gnar's on 1.5 items, Syndra's on 2 items, you've got 2 items on Ezreal, and now...
Look, if it catches the 2-man stun, the charm lands on Jonjo, but it's a nice engage from Ice Arrow. Gets returned, the ultimate comes down from Yetz, can he get a root down? But look at Franklin, free hitting on the backline. The Cataclysm comes down to Yetz, but had flash available. Strongest now stuck between a rock and a hard place as J and Slacking are already down. W's over the wall, but Franklin's chasing him down. The Q misses, the EQ, and the final auto attack gets it, and that is 3 down for from Deja Vu, and they're going to look for this Baron.
Yeah, and I mean, just disrespect there from WSLA. You cannot step that far forward without any vision versus, like I said, 5 champions who are all stronger than their counterparts. You just cannot do that. You need to win these games of securing picks and creating pressure across different sides of the map to where DB are right now. You can't just run into them because otherwise you will die, and it means that they've secured a Baron for themselves, and there is no one there to contest it for WSLA. And this snowball is getting a bit out of control now. Okay.
Deja Vu, they've just taken Baron. That's all well and good, but I'm looking at the side of WSLA, and they've got Xayah wave clear, they've got Ahri wave clear. How are you really expecting Deja Vu to utilize this Baron? Because it's going to get to a point where some of these late game champions are going to do a lot of work on the side of WSLA. How did Deja Vu actually close this one out?
I reckon a 4-1 to be their best strategy. I think you put Jonjo with a side lane, get him pushing. I mean, right now, I don't think there's a single member of WSLA who can 1v1 that Gnar with the Black Cleaver and the Frozen Mallet being built alongside that Fleet Footwork. So it's just going to be too tough for anyone. I mean, even Slacking's going to struggle with that one. And so I think you put Jungle on the side, then you put your 4 members in the mid lane who's strong. And then either you win out the 4v4, because, I mean, Ice Arrow, Lottie 4, Franklin, and Major 2 all looking really strong right now, or that side lane wins. And as I think much of WSLA can do in that situation, especially with those Baron minions just pushing up against them, and eventually those towers will start to crack.
Getting this vision now in the top side jungle, trying to get picks, trying to get some poke down. They do have a lot of poke on their team, and then eventually they're going to use that to get the turrets. Do WSLA still have a chance? They are 9,000, nearly 10,000 gold down against a team with Baron buff. Did he still have a chance to get back into this one? As GuiJ looking for an engage, lands his E down onto a couple of members, but doesn't find the stun, doesn't find the engage, doesn't have flash available to be able to do it, and in the end, Jonjo picks up a free turret top as Slacking walks down, but it gives Yet some free time to get this wave. And in comes Ice Arrow, going for the EQ, it's instantly ultimated by GuiJ. It's a nice stun from Syndra. The ultimate is then answered by Yetz's, and GuiJ trying to frontline to make sure his team's okay. Slacking gets some damage down onto Jonjo, he's still going to be okay. Slacking misses the ultimate, that could be huge as the binding lands onto Urgot, and Urgot is down. Only one member died, but Yetz has had to return to the base. They've got a cannon minion on the turret. This could be the turret down for WSLA.
Yeah, well, it is going to be that, really. Look at those Baron minions just pushing in. The siege is so good for Deja Vu. And Stronger looking for something.
Stronger goes down onto Jonjo, but nearly has Maganawa available, and he does. Stronger's able to get away, but GuiJ is taken down. And there's the cat comes onto Yetz. He's not got flash available anymore, and Jonjo gets a double kill. That's the inhibitor taken down, and this could be the end of the game if Deja Vu continue the push.
Yeah, Deja Vu should continue the push here. They very much have the tools available for that. They've just got to wait for those Baron buff many minions to come in, because that cannon minion just chilling out of tower range there. As now they're able to walk up now. It's going to be so hard. I mean, Festive has no gold behind him, and Stronger is a support. Really, the only person who can defend this is Slacking, but even then, I don't think there's a 1v5 potential with that Urgot. So they are going to force them off for now, which is very, very lucky. But really now, this game, it has DV's win written all over it. Then again, I've seen bigger comebacks happen in my time at casting League of Legends. So really, I can't even say the game's over yet, but it would take an astronomical failure from the side of Deja Vu. And it's going to take a few of them to let the side of WSLA get back into this game.
I'm looking at Xayah, I'm looking at Ahri, I'm looking at what these champions can do in the late game. Yetz is safe on this Xayah, he can press R. Ahri is safe, Festive is safe on this Ahri, he can press R. They're both going to do a lot of work in these teamfights, and when compared to Ezreal, who is so hard to execute, and Syndra, who is so immobile and so squishy going for this full AP build, although the Riley's gives him a little bit of health, I can see there's ways that they can front to back team fight, but they just seem to be one item off it. They've now got that inner broken, but that just gives them more waves. I think there's a way that they can. I think there's a way that they can, but if they do, how do they do it?
Yeah, and see, that's the issue, because right now, I mean, if you're GuiJ and you're sat there, I want to impale someone. Well, first of all, Morgana's an issue, because you're just dark binding the person you've E'd. Or, then let's say you want to get some stuns onto Syndra somehow, which is the cleanse available. That's what makes it so powerful. So not only, if you're trying to get rid of Lolliful, you've got to get past a Lightning Morgana shield, and then also a cleanse from that Syndra before you can even think about CCing her. So overall, I mean, it's going to be a difficult ask of the side of WSLA to really come back into this game because of the safety that's being offered by the Ezreal, by the Morgana of this team. And you just see, once again, they're using the multiple lane pressure to their advantage. They have Jonjo in this mid lane, shoving in these super minions into the enemy base and kind of giving some room for DV to push through this top lane as that full minion.
Yeah, it's his poke down a little bit. Doesn't have the Infinity Edge yet. GuiJ flashes forward, but unable to get anything down. Misses the Impale, and it's another wave gone. And that's a big, big summoner spell. Maybe the most important summoner spell that they've got. The stun lands. He's so close to dying, but in the end, Strong is able to help him out until Isoa gets the dunk. And now Slacking goes down too on the Skarner, and it's only GuiJ goes down. Slacking trying to get the return kill, but Lolliful's there with another fantastic scatter week. And here comes Jonjo, the flash, the ultimate. No, as he takes him down, and they're gonna win this game. Game 1 to Deja Vu as he take down the Nexus turret. 1-1, 2-0 you say? No, we're still the best team in the league. We're going to take this game, and this is going to be a swift 2-0 if they can help it.
That was an incredibly dominant performance being showed by Deja Vu. They acknowledged the win conditions that WSLA want to play through, and they completely shut them down. Slacking, who I was expecting to pop off this game, did exactly the opposite. Sir Jonju and that Kama Bigger than not absolutely destroyed him in that matchup. The mid lane jungle duo of Ice Arrow and Lolly Fool did absolute work. Lolly Fool's goldie was absolutely massive. And then the bot lane, this Ezreal Morgana didn't even feel the pressure of the Syracon through the majority of that laning phase, held strong, and yes, the stronger could do nothing in that mid game. So fantastic play from Deja Vu, acknowledging their win conditions, playing towards them, and showing that, yeah, we're probably the best team in this league. Come on, guys.
3 losing lanes and a losing jungle. WSLA have got a lot to change to turn this one around in this best of 3 series. They've got now time to do it as game 2 comes close. We will take a short break now, and fingers crossed, next game will be a little bit more closer.
ain't perfect, no. It's a work in progress, good things go slow. I'm no saint. I fall and you pick me up again. Got your habits, got them too. Just feel like maybe I could lose them with you. Sinking in and I guess I kinda like that. For the first time you really got my back. Got your habits, got them too.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of WSLA versus DV. DV able to get a nice, easy game 1, able to pick up the win. And WSLA, they've got a lot to show for themselves. Byron, how did they do it?
Well, I mean, deja vu. It just felt like their players were just on another level compared to WSLA. It was a lot of plays that just it felt like they were individually outclassed. I mean, John Joe smashed slacking in that lane. Lottie Fool looked like an absolute beast on that Syndra versus Festive. Ice Arrow made so many yanks happen when Gooey J was practically invisible that whole game. And Frantic Imagine on 2 made a Zyra Khan look like a useless lane. Like overall, DV had a fantastic performance, all having their individual moments. The question is now, WSLA coming into game 2, you're gonna need to change your strategy. The question is, what are they gonna do?
Yes, didn't play that badly on Zaya, just wasn't really given the resources to be able to do anything. I do question the fact he went Rapid Fire Cannon instead of the Infinity Edge second item when going Lethal Tempo. But I think when given the resources, I mean, listen, they prio picked their bot lane and their mid and top, they got counter pick. Despite getting counter pick, they lost their lanes in very much a 1v1 scenario. So maybe just accept that you are worse players in these matchups and try and focus bot side. That's what I want to see from WSLA, but we'll see if they're able to do it as the bans start. And I have a feeling that Gnar might get banned away.
It could be, or maybe Sacking has some other pick up his sleeve. Could be looking for maybe a Camille. Would be a nice pick into that nah. But the Vine, sticking to that first ban from last game. They could just stick to their guns in the ban phase, which would very much surprise me. We'll see what they want to do.
Yeah, quite strange that they ended up banning out the Vi despite picking the Zaya, even though Zaya's a very good pick into it. But there is the Gnar ban. We'll see if Jarvan gets through. Again, Sivir being banned, Jarvan's available. We'll see how long this goes. Same bans, though, for DV, as they don't want Slacking to be on that comfort pick.
Yeah, and the question is, they're banning the Gnar, will they take away the Kennen as well? Because if Slacking is going to have problems versus ranged top laners, then it's going to be one or the other. He's still going to have to deal with that Kennen. Unless he picks it himself, which isn't really a Slacking pickup. And the Syndra that Lottie Full popped off on so hard, it won't be here this time. And I imagine the first pick will be looking to take away that Jarvan.
Jarvan high priority, but very importantly to note is the fact that Diana has not been banned this game against Deja Vu. If Lollyful can pop off on Syndra, well, damn straight he can pop off on that Diana. But will he really look to pick it in their first 3 picks? That's going to be the big question. How confident is he on that pick? But we'll see. As WSLA are looking to take their first champion, and I think we're predicting a Jarvan.
Well, it's not a Jarvan. Hey, but it is a Gragas who is very good into that Jarvan pickup. I do like the fact that it has a lot of engage potential, but also has that explosive cast and can just blow up a team fight if they're able to use it well. And the great thing about this rack is it is still a little bit of a flex, but we have seen it go support a few times. Some people even like to take it top lane, but the DV, they know what works. They're going to stick to their guns. The Jarvan and the Ezreal pickup from last game, they're going to keep those in their wheelhouse.
The advantage of early picking jungler is you get counter picking basically all of your lanes. They now know it's an Ezreal. The Zyra can't, it just didn't work. Caitlyn's banned, what else can you pick into it? Prove that you're the better bot lane, because you're going to need to be if you're going to win this game. That's the question that I'm asking Yetz and Stronger right now. They need to show they're stronger, and that's the Morgana takeaway from Hashi.
Yeah, it is Morgana. Going to be in the hands of Stronger this time, and I imagine he'll be doing a good job on that one. But now, what ADC do you pair with it? Do you even go a traditional bot lane versus Ezreal, or are you looking for something else? I mean, there were a lot of different options. I think into Ezreal, you could pick something very, very scaly and kind of try and beat him out when it comes to the late game. But then Nico being locked in here didn't get banned away from Festive this time, and now will be in that man's hands. It is his big comfort pickup, and he does have it.
There you go. You pick Nico. You blind pick Nico in the first phase. They've still got counter pick available, and you've given them that there. You've given them the Diana counter pick, which I think is just going to work so well into Nico as soon as that level 6 arises. Sion's been taken away from Slacking. I don't know now for WSLA. It looks like they've already lost the draft. what do they need to do now in draft? How do they turn this one around? Because we know John Joe's going to get counterpick.
Well, the truth is here. I mean, I don't think they've lost draft just yet. I mean, DV have a better draft right now. But you've got to keep in mind that both mid laners now have their big comfort pick. And I feel like Festive doesn't play many of the mid laners bar this Nico. He's so central in this pickup. And it's just, it looks like the same thing for Lollyful and Diana. So it will very likely be an explosive mid lane, but it does mean that Festive now has something he's comfortable on, and I feel like that'll help him a lot because in the RB he looked lost. At least in the Nico, he knows how to play that champion, how to dip and dodge at things, and that might give him the edge. However, Diana the Draven, you've still got to be careful of those ganks by Ice Arrow because he will very happily go in there if it means that Lollyful is able to secure a kill.
Tristana taken away from Yets, confirming that they don't get an AD carry, which is quite decent into the Ezreal, to be honest. Yeah, you might miss your slow from your W, but you're going to stay in range. You're going to make sure that if you get ahead, that the Ezreal stays behind. Then the Zyra band away from Harshu. They're respecting this incredibly good support. Now, it's proven me wrong with the Morgana. We might prove me wrong again. But the Zyra been taken away, denying the poke in the bot lane. We've seen a couple of people in chat saying that Nico could perhaps be top or bot lane. It is a 100% possibility. With no Festive, it is his most comfortable champion. So we'll see if it was maybe a bait makes them pick Diana.
Well, could go bot lane. I don't think it's a slacking champion top lane. I mean, I could get proven wrong, but he is not a fan of ranged champions in that top lane. So Counterpick still available for John Joe, and that Kennen crucially didn't even get banned in the ban phase 2 either. So I'm imagining John Joe's going to pick it up if Slacking picks any sort of melee bruiser that is a typical starter he wants to play. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Mordecai to come out here, to be honest, if Slacking wants to go for it. As the Ashe will be the pickup for Yet. It's a very safe bot lane once again, but a lot of CC, crucially. The Morgana binding, the Ashe ultimate, Nico's roots, and then Gragas as a champion has a lot of CC. So really what we're looking for here, from the side of WSLA, they have a lot of lockdown potential and are able to punish a lot of overextensions. The question is, are they going to be able to do that versus a Braum or an Ezreal or a Jarvan?
It very much just looks like comfort. Now, I know Yetz likes his Ashe. Quite a while ago when he was trying out for CNA, Ashe was his kind of go-to AD carry. Was indeed a long time ago, and Slacking's opted for the Cho'Gath. We need tank, they say. They chose the tank, and he went for the Cho'Gath, who's relatively decent in lane. He has to sustain, but Kleptomancy Kennen is seeming like a possibility here for me.
Yeah, and that day you see being hovered already, and we'll see what John John wants to opt for in the end. What I do know is that Slacking's most played champion in League, it ain't actually Darius, it's Cho'Gath. He used to be a Cho'Gath on streak back in like season 6, season 7. So imagine I'm imagining he's gonna do very, very well on this pick himself. And with the Poppy, it looks like quite a tank on tank noodle fight. You know, everyone loves them in the top lane. So I imagine already we can kind of scrap that off the key matchups list because it's I doubt much is going to happen there.
Yeah, I think Poppy probably has the advantage in the lane in terms of the trades with the shields. The fact that Cho'Gath is a little bit immobile, but we'll see how that one ends up going. But a big thing for me is you've picked Ashe. You knew what the enemy bot lane was. You knew what your support was. You knew what the enemy jungler was. You knew exactly how your lane was going to go. And you chose Ashe. Now, yeah, Morgana's going to keep you relatively safe, but Cataclysm isn't a CC, it's terrain. You know, that AD carry is going to get stuck in a wall of just pure Damastian justice. And I don't know if Ashe is going to be able to get out of that and survive, given the damage that Diana, that Ezreal have got. It's going to be a tough one. Looking at draft, for me, DV have got the advantage. But for you, Byron, my colour caster, who do you think's got this one?
I think Deja Vu have a good competition overall, and I still feel like they have the advantage in this lane. We've seen that Ezreal pop off. We've seen the Jarvan pop off. Lottie on his comfort pick. Like, I just DV have a lot of strengths here, but the difference is that last game I didn't feel like there was room for WSLA to punish DV's overextensions and aggressive moves, whereas now I think there is still a little bit of comfort being locked in here with the Cho'Gath for slacking, the Nico for festive. They're going to be feeling a lot more comfortable in those lanes, and I imagine that's going to help them a lot. So really, overall, I mean, DV, they have the advantages right now, but I still feel like there is a chance for WSLA in this game. It's very much not like the game's over in draft. What I do want to ask you is, you talk about this Ashe pick not being a great pickup. My question to you is, what would you prefer? Because you can't pick the Sivir, you can't pick the Tristana, you can't pick the Caitlyn. What would you really go for here?
Well, it's really dependent what you want to do because you've already got the Morgana. It's like you can't try and hard win the lane. Lucian's always a possibility if you're comfortable on that champion because of its CC. If you want to look to snowball and make sure this Diana never gets to where she wants to be. Alternative to that, I think Xayah is one of the most strongest AD carries at the moment. She can stop the Diana burst. Even if Jarvan gets a Cataclysm, the amount of time you'll spend in your ultimate will stop a lot of the damage that comes in. It'll keep you relatively safe. Cataclysm will turn out, you'll end up getting a huge Blade Caller on the team. For me, that would probably your best meta pick. Lucian if you want to carry, Xayah if you want to scale. Ashe for me, it's just going to be that CC. It means that someone else has got to carry unless it gets to 3-4 items. And I think for me that puts all the pressure on that jungle mid, that Gooey J, that Nico. It's they prioritize the Gragas. They picked 5 champions into the Gragas, and it's going to be so important that he gets this early game, that he gets it off. Because last game they just lost every lane.
Oh, very much so. And I look at Deja Vu, and the big key difference compared to last game is whilst they had very passive silence, and I think they still have that. This time, there's a lot more disengage potential. Instead of having the Morgana and the the Morgana and the Gnar, you opted for a Braum and a Poppy, and I feel like those can do a lot more in terms of peeling away for the likes of Franklin on this backline. He's going to be able to just pew pew onto the enemy, and so with the way they've drafted, they have a very, very good front-to-back teamfight composition where they can fight that traditional style and have Diana and Jarvan and possibly look for some flanks, or Braum, Poppy, and Ezreal hold strong in the mid lane.
The question then is okay, they want to play for this front-to-back team fight, like probably relatively early, but their damage is very much burst. Ezreal isn't really DPS. Yes, his auto attacks do a lot of damage, but you tend to see the Ezreals, especially in the low reload, don't use the auto attacks as much as they should. It's more about their kind of combos, using the W, getting the proc damage with the Q and E. Diana again, it's the same thing. It's just bursting. That's one shot an enemy carry. If them two die, they've not really got the damage. And if Cho'Gath's nice and tanky, how do they get through the Cho'Gath? You know, is Nico going to be the line to stop them from doing anything? And there's still ways that WSL can get back in this one, but I'm just looking at their lanes, just in the kind of 1v1s, the 2v2s, and I don't see a way that they get in this one. I don't know what this Gragas is going to be able to do.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We'll just, I mean, I can see the Gragas targeting very well if he goes to the mid lane. I feel like if you can shut down Lolliful before he becomes a threat, that'll be an incredibly smart move. The question is, can they do that? But it's very likely that Ice Arrow is going to be pretty much babysitting Lolliful in that mid lane and making sure that as soon as you go in, there's going to be that jungler ready to counter gank. Because top lane, if it's going to happen, and with the champions locked in bot lane, I doubt anything's really going to happen there either. So it is going to be a very much a mid lane focused game. And that mid jungle duo is where the whole game will rotate around. And the issue is that coming into this game, I looked at Deja Vu's mid jungle duo compared to WSLA's, and that was for me the biggest difference. Ice Arrow and Lolliful are just so strong. And I feel like if you're going to try and challenge them at their own game, that's a very, very scary thing to do. But we aren't now into game.
A key thing for me is the fact that Glacial Nico is the best Nico, but Festive's opted for this Arcane Comet, and I actually like it. And the reason I like it is the fact that I don't think we can trust Gooey J to have the impact that's more than Ice Arrow, especially on a champion that's harder to execute in the early game. You've got to have advantages in these lanes, and Nico will naturally have an advantage against Diana. If the E lands, the Arcane Comet will land, the Q will land, and that's going to be a lot of damage going down onto Lolliful. I think he's going to need that. He's going to need mid-prio for anything to happen, because it allows you to get control over the river, which gives you control over the side lanes and might make John Joe and Franklin a little bit more scared to do anything. But once again, WSLA, it's like in spotting his 100 Cobra club tag still. They're looking around, maybe looking for a deep board. Stronger, lands the Q onto Ezreal. Can they get anything else down? Gooey with a knock-up. A lot of damage coming down. The knock-up from Cho'Gath, and it's first blood for Festive, just the start that they needed. That's going to be a nice 300, 400 gold in his pocket. And it might make this game a little bit easier.
It certainly will, and that kill so big because now Festive starts off this lane with an advantage, and against a Diana whose weakness really is that pre-6 point, this is now where you can really look to abuse that Comet. Also something I like over the Glacial because Lolliful, big lack of range on there, means that she's going to get poked down to hell. And with another Doran's ring alongside that Comet, he's going to be struggling in terms of that keeping that health up. I mean, sure, he does have the Dark Seal combo to refillable potion, meaning he will have a lot of health regen there, but it's going to be a struggle for Lolliful in these early levels, and I imagine he will need some form of assistance.
Asking me the question, we saw Festive getting out-CS'd, out-traded in the mid lane last game. He's got the Domin's Ring advantage this time, and he's going to have to make it work. Ice Arrow starting the red buff from the top side, which takes Jonjo away from the wave. But Slacken doing a good job there just to hide, make sure that they don't really know where he's starting. It was very obvious for WSLA to get that intel from level 1. Let's see if there is anything special that happens in the early game. But again, the question, where do you think these junglers should really focus? You said that QEJ should be around mid lane and make sure this Lollyfool gets shut down. But what would you say for Ice Arrow? Where should he be?
I think it's mid lane again. I think both these junglers need to get this mid lane ahead, because we talked about top lane is going to be passive this game. Bot lane is going to be quite passive this game, I imagine. So a lot of the focus needs to be on this mid lane matchup, because realistically, it's going to be hard to, you know, make an engage happen on lane with either Morgana in or an Ezreal Braum in. In the top lane, I mean, you can get a tank ahead, but it's still just a tank. So I think both junglers need to be looking towards this mid lane. Their snowball potential is huge, and getting your player who's on their comfort pick ahead is so crucial.
Bad for Slacken. He tried to get the shield, but Jonjo got there first, and it's been a huge trade that he has lost. Popped the corrupting potion late, and now Jonjo massively ahead in this matchup. Shades to Couchy in week 1. He's absolutely demolishing it.
Yeah, Jonjo's doing a fantastic job against Slacking, and Slacking just, he needs to be respectful of the damage that Jonjo's able to put out. He isn't right now. He's stepping up, and he's just been taking too much damage. And it was something that happened in game 1, where he went for engages when he really shouldn't have been, and now it's happening in game 2 already.
We spoke about it a little bit on the podcast yesterday about having to trust your team for the team to be able to do anything. And maybe Slacken's just got this issue where he doesn't trust anyone and needs to carry himself. But QEJ is in the top lane. The stun does land. The barrel with the knock-up as well. Red buff is slowing him down, but will get the Q down. Trying to get the movement speed, but it's not working for him. His red buff starts to go in. The knock-up will land, but do they have the damage? It doesn't look like they do. Can he get the shield? But QEJ is able to pick that one up, and it is another kill for WSLA in the top side. And that is exactly what Slacken needed given that trade.
And crucially, not only does he get a kill with QEJ, and he can spread that gold across the map and use that to his advantage, also alleviating the pressure off of Slacking, but also in mid lane, Ice Arrow tried to make it happen, I mean, it did not happen in the end.
But here now he is down in the bot lane. Nice binding from Stronger, which is going to mean that he falls down. Can they get the 4th auto attack? The Morg shield will keep him alive. The knockup does fall down to Yetz. Nice flash from Stronger to mean no further damage comes down. The final Q won't be enough, and Yetz knows that cooldowns are down and trying to chase them down even more. This game for me now. Sorry, go on.
This is just such a better start for WSLA. Instead of losing on their lanes, they made that proactive gank top lane, which has worked out. Their mid lane held. Festive did a great job. Didn't have to burn Flash, but he was dealing with Lollyfool and Ice Arrow ganking him. Whereas last time it resulted in first blood. And this time in the bot lane, Yetz and Stronger playing respectful, being that Ice Arrow is unable to get a successful gank off, bar getting a flash off without Morgana. So in the end, WSLA, they come out of that. Ice Arrow ganked 2 lanes, QEJ ganked 1, but QEJ is the one who's in the lead now.
Ice Arrow, though, being a little bit more efficient with his pathing, is 4 CS up. Does give QEJ now a chance to invade, but one thing now that you're thinking for WSLA is you've actually not got priority in any of these lanes unless Jonjo can kind of still get advantages in the kind of the micro and mechanical plays up in topside, despite being tanks. And that's going to give Ice Arrow a lot of opportunities, but a lot of responsibility because, you know, if this Ashe gets ahead, if this Nico gets ahead, despite having the comp that I like, QEJ, Predator, the E-Flash is going to take him down. Nice knockback by Lollyfool. The double knockup with the EQ Flash by Ice Arrow. They might be able to turn this one around. It's continuing the chase. They're both low. Festive, though, will have his E up soon to try and turn it. The nice slow from QEJ will make sure that he's forced to back off, but very nicely played. Nice gank, but both junglers happen to use Flash to make sure that in the end, nothing happens.
Yeah, and that's a tough one for WSLA because they burnt both of their flashes. QEJ doesn't have it, and Festive doesn't have it. Whereas Lollyfool had to burn his flash earlier on, which means he's going to have that cooldown up sooner. And not having a flash versus Diana, she's only 2 levels off of level 6. And then this driving gank, you ain't got a flash to avoid that either. It's such a crucial cooldown in this mid lane where we're expecting a lot of the action to happen. With both the flashes down from QEJ and Festive, it does mean that the aggression that they're going to try and push out these ganks are going to be so much harder to execute.
One thing I really want to actually point to this game is really a compliment to Ice Arrow and what he's done in controlling vision. We saw it a little bit in the first game, I didn't get a chance to mention it, but he put 3 deep wards on the map. Well, his team joined him, obviously. that kind of had complete control of the enemy jungler. But I'll interrupt that point as Gooey J passing topside. The knockup from Slack and lands, and a nice knockup from Gooey J as well. But Jonjo pushing it back into the W. One more Q will get the kill. The smite will slow him down. Slacking with a knockup is going to be enough damage with 2 more auto attacks. Jonjo trying his best, but here comes Isa with the EQ. Slacking flashes, gets the final E-proc to get him down, but now he's going to end up falling.
Wait,
nice
it's the ultimate.
Does have ultimate available. Gooey J looking for something, misses the EQ. Oh, and he survives! He survives. Slacking using the feast. The final auto attack from Gooey J. Well played, Slacking in the top lane to turn that one around, because Jesus, that was close.
And Slacky, he knows his damage numbers on this Cho'Gath. He's played so much. It's 364,000 mastery points on this thing, and there's a reason why he has it. He knows what he can do on this champion, and now he's starting to take over this top lane. He's sure even CS, but look at those KPIs.
Diana going in, has no mana, the stun lands, and here comes Festive. Nice ease there, no Q to escape, no flash to escape. Lollyful's going to end up falling down. One more auto attack should do it, but he walks into a bush to stop him. It does slow him down as well. The W will speed him up. One more auto attack, there's the Q, and in the end, I tell you what, mate, QEJ, 5 kill participation for 5 kills. That is a very impressive early game, if I do say so myself. So a jungler did absolutely nothing on Skarner.
Yeah, and it seems like the opposite end of the spectrum now. We've seen Gooey J be the one who's proactive in the early game on this Gragas. He's made a lot of ganks happen, put his lanes that he needs to be ahead. And Isao has been the one who's been invisible. Like, he dies once in that top lane scenario. He's tried to make a few ganks happen, but it hasn't really happened. And now, look, it's such a turnaround game for QJ. Sure, his farm still isn't really up to scratch, but the leads he's got his lanes means that now there's a 2k gold lead for WSLA, and that's going to be so useful, especially in this mid lane. But like we talked about, Comfort's huge here. Festive, he knows how to execute this Nico, and now she has the possibility to snowball.
Really nice there from Gooey J, using that cask to make sure that Nico is safe. Lollyful almost had flash, he knows that Festive doesn't, as you said earlier, and this is the time that Fool needs to get advantages, but Gooey J chasing him down, saying, no, this isn't your lane anymore, get out, go sit back at base, I'm controlling this one now. Jonjo making plays in the top side, and Yet's making plays in the bottom. Who knows if there's going to be a kill, but Gooey J is passing towards top lane. Slacking able to get the shield, which is going to stop a lot of Jonjo's damage. There is no flash and there is no cask available for Gooey J, and Jonjo is able to flash. The minions will get in the way, and the final ultimate will knock nobody away. Gooey J still has E. The slow comes down. The knock-up from misses from Slacking in the end. Jonjo's able to survive, but does burn flash.
Yeah, and that flash cooldown going to be big. Very many also doesn't have to keep his verdict, so a regank here could mean the end for this Poppy. And Gooey J, he smells blood in the water.
Can he land the E? No, because it's a nice steadfast presence. And a nice return from Jonjo. Was he able to take the kill? In the end, he walks away, which is probably the smart idea. As Fool goes in on the mid lane. Festive pops his ultimate, but flashed away from Fool. And there's a flash trade once again. Gooey J so proactive. It's not working, but at least he's trying.
Exactly, and the proactivity is so important to be able to make these plays happen, to alleviate pressure on other lanes. And Gooey J,
Isaro had complete vision of that one. The knockback, he needs the smite. He's able to get it on the blue buff. The red buff continuing down to try and slow down Gooey J, but Slacking's here and so is Festive. But Fool looking for an all-in, able to get the pullback. One more auto attack will do it. He's able to get that shut down, and that's going to be big for Fool to try and carry this one come the mid game. Ezreal misses. Gooey J still alive, but he's so goddamn low. Needs that passive to heal back up, and I think Matt Jarvan might still be looking.
Yeah, very much will be. Lollyful finally securing his first kill of the game. So important to get that gold back and to start moving on this Diana, because the Diana who's not ahead is a pretty rough Diana, and so you need to be able to get those kills, secure those early plays to try and get yourself ahead. Now, having that kill is going to be so useful, because now you can start snowballing, start looking to burst people down. I mean, we talked about Nico being quite a squishy champion in champs that's very easily abusable by Lollyful once he hits that level 6 mark. Now that he is level 6, he's able to use that very well. It's just whether or not they can continue this, because right now, I mean, that 2k gold that we were on about is now down to 1k, thanks to that play happening there, forcing Gooey J away from his camps. And Isao are starting to secure some priority as we see the farm difference in these jungles. That's a clean 15 CS, which isn't what you usually see.
I mean, look at bot lane. That's a huge CS lead for Franklin, over 20 when he finishes off that wave. It's certainly, this is going to sound maybe a little bit in as Deja Vu go for this Drake, but chat, correct me if I'm wrong, Byron, correct me if I'm wrong. Could Stronger max his shield here against a Diana which is going to look to burst? There's not going to be a lot of damage if that shield is able to stop a lot of it. And if Yetis is able to survive, just because I'm thinking if he kills Yetis, then this game is probably over for WSLA. But if that shield of pure magic damage can keep him alive, is that going to be plausible, or am I just being stupid?
It sounds quite plausible, but I think I prefer the fact that Stronger mixed up again, is maxing the Dark Binding instead. And the reason he's doing that is because he can fire them out at a much faster rate, which is going to be important against the likes of an Energy One. We have a lot of these mobility options. You want to have a chance to try and catch them out, keep them rooted down in place, because we know that if you land that straight binding, all of a sudden that enchanted crystal arrow comes through, and then you're locked in there for days. And I think I prefer the idea of lowering the cooldown on the Q, just spamming it out again and again and again, trying to fish for those, rather than trying to survive for the down. I think the maxing the E second could certainly be an option. I feel like it would be very useful, especially if Yetz is going to be under threat from Lollyfall in a lot of this game, and if you start encountering problems with that, it's just depending on whether or not Stronger and Slacking and Gooey J can successfully peel Lollyfall off of Yetz. Oh.
Flash forward from Harshy, he's able to get that knock up on Strong, but he's going to get down the Black Shield that instantly gets bursted through. Gooey J's here, but the ultimate from Franklin will take him down, and the stun lands from the passive of Braun once again. He continues to try and chase, but there comes the cat to knock him down, but yet still has the damage. One more auto attack will do it. Doesn't have flash available, but the enchanted crystal arrow just to take him down. Franklin's low. Festive got the reaction first, and the flash, the double stun is going to be able to take him down, but now Lollyfall is still here. He's going to try and take the fight. No, he's not. Nice rotation for Festive. He was there first. And in the end, a good gank from Deja Vu ends up not working out for them at all.
Yeah, fantastic rotation down there from Festive. Is able to secure the double kill, and great play by Yet to stay out of all of that damage and just be free hitting on 3 of the enemy team's members as they're wailing on their support and jungler. Now, the gold difference looking fantastic in that mid lane, 700 gold lead for Festive. Now he is 4-1. Fantastic for him, and Gooey J alleviating some of the pressure off of the tower there.
I like it. WSLA realising that they don't know how to CS, but saying, screw it, let's just kill them. Kills give you more gold, why not? And it's certainly working out for them in the early game. Franklin, though, getting 2 kills is certainly exactly what he wants if he wants to look to try and solo carry this one, as he has done so many times before. But I like it. WSLA, they've got the advantages now. They've got control over these neutral objectives. And what's your call for them next? What do you want to see WSLA do as they move on to the late stages of this game?
Well, now we see that Rift Herald's up, right? I mean, that bot lane play went well. You secured yourself a bit of priority there. Now, let's bring Gooey J, as you see, up towards this top lane. Let's get a successful gank happening in the top lane, get Slacking a little bit more ahead. But keep your eyes on Ice, because he's trying to look for something here. But the Rift Herald should be your next focus point in terms of your objectives. That's really like, off of a successful mid or top gank, you use that, go to the Rift Herald, secure that, knowing that you have the numbers advantage. That's the way I expect WSLA to play these next few minutes.
That's going to be the priority for them. Gooey J making sure that Festive is always okay in this lane. There's only been one time when Fool got the kill, and that was obviously when Jarvan had invaded. The one time that hadn't been able to happen, Gooey J kind of overextending. Shield lands from Braun, but nothing further going to happen if Franklin comes in, a lot of damage. Whoa. The ultimate is going to take him down. Nice from Franklin there, able to pick him up. Gooey J gonna have to try and defend this turret now, but there's a 2v2. That's the potential this bot lane has, and over again, these two proving that despite having some disadvantages, they're still the ones that are better and stronger in this game. Even though, yes, has played well. You could almost say harder, better, faster, and stronger is the bot lane of Franklin and Majordan 2.
Well, I'm stronger than the other team, but you know, about that. Looking at what I'm seeing from Franklin, though, he's having a great performance in the Ezreal once again. I mean, thanks to the Kleptomancy and the extra kills he's able to secure alongside the CS lead, he is actually 1k up on Yetz, despite the fact that, you know, Yetz has been arguably having a more solid performance on this. Gooey J, he's heading out his bot lane, trying to push them off, but look at Ice Arrow, he's ready to the counter gank.
EQ, what nice dodge from Gooey J there. Does get slowed, but no further damage, and he's safe. At the moment, Gragas is this AP champion. It used to be kind of bruisery, then went into the tank, and now it's just full AP, kind of, let's just one-shot these kids. Just still think it was the right champion to go for. Yes, he's had the early impact, but as we go into these later stages of the game, is he going to be able to continue this impact, or is he just going to get poked down and bursted from champions like Diana and Ezreal?
Well, usually he goes the AP and then he transitions into the tank, so I imagine that it won't be too much of an issue, especially when you consider in the late game. Well, Gooey J is doing a good heavy lifting now. In the late game, he's got another tank in his team that's going to be able to help him out, and it's the late game scaling Cho'Gath. And realistically, Gooey J, all he needs to do is hold this mid lane, because in the mid to late game, Slacking just chomping down on these minions, going to be able to get so big on this Cho'Gath, and that's why I'm expecting this pick to really come to fruition, because in the early game, it's done well. It's stayed quite even, but how is a team without any sort of tank shred gonna get through Slacking in like 30-40 minutes? That's my question. I don't see it happening.
That is indeed a huge question. We're seeing now that, Ezreal's got his Sheen, Diana's got a Luden's Echo. Maybe this is the time when DV look to turn things around, but I'm really liking what GWJ is doing. He's not prioritising farming, he's prioritising his position on the map, making sure he gets scuttle priority, and he's had complete control over the river this game. And I hope to see more of this as the game continues, but both junglers hovering around mid-bot side. It's kind of just allowing these tanks to just absolutely just waffle into each other and do nothing.
Damage to each other. Fantastic. Hey.
Nice fight there. Lollyful getting a little bit low. Festive and Gragas able to try and get around this Jarvan, maybe try and force him out of the lane, but in the end I think they're both going to be okay. I think they're looking for this mid lane turret. It's so low. They just want to give Festive this priority, and obviously every third auto attack does that extra damage because of its W passive. Just kind of keep doing that on a turret, get it down against this melee champion that is Diana.
Yeah. And now I want to jump back to my point about the Rift Tower, because right now I wouldn't say the Rift Tower is worth anymore. I mean, there's not any platings available. You could use it to crack that mid tower open if you really want to, but now the attention has to be back towards this dragon. And right now, I mean, it looks like Ice Tower is looking to try and position for some priority, but it's looking like a possible 4v4 around this river. Seeing what happens is UEJ, he's hanging around this pit.
Both bot lanes waves have been gone. Both bot lanes are now pathing upwards. Lollyful goes in, nice ban, and GWJ is able to get out. Festive with a huge play to go into the pit, but he's all alone. The TP comes in from Jonjo. Lollyful gets taken down by GWJ on the return side, but Jonjo is able to take down Festive. This fight will continue as a 4 versus 3. Black up to prioritise the top side as my computer crashes. This is
Unlucky for Drigger. I guess I'll take over for now in terms of the play-by-play. Let me know when you're back, Drigger. Otherwise, I will be on my own. But Mountain Dragon will be going over in the end to Deja Vu. One of those big objectives that they're able to secure. And now the gold lead only down to 600 now. WSLA struggling to hold on to their advantage, but I would say they certainly have a better composition come the late game. It's whether or not they can get there. And right now, they've been able to hold quite well. It's just seeing whether they can continue that. As Slacking getting a lot of damage onto this top lane tower. I doubt it'll go down, but there's a possibility of that, especially with this mid lane tower taking a lot of damage from minions too. It could be that this is where DV start losing out on these objectives.
And Trigger has returned. Yeah, indeed, Slacking looking to try and get that turret down. A couple more autos will do it. The E will do even more damage to that turret. One more, and there is first turret for the side of WSLA. Yes, they lose the dragon, and yes, they lose a kill, but they're able to get a kill in return and a turret. Not too bad of a trade in the end. It is a Mountain Drake. And what does the Mountain Drake mean? It means you get objectives faster. It means you get these neutral objectives, you get these turrets faster. And so far, they've not really had pressure on either. I think really it's not the best Drake for DV to have. They need to win these fights, and Mountain Drake doesn't help with that.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. And I'm looking at the state of the map, and top lane can get pushed in really hard. The Rift Tower is going to be the objective choice.
There is only 50 seconds on that, and Jonjo, Ice Arrow, and Fool are on the way. A good ultimate here can make sure that they go, and oh, that's both of them sent all the way back to blue buff. And now the return comes back for DV to get priority on it. Ezreal ult comes down, but will it be enough? Jonjo trying to roam, but here comes Festive on the backside, trying to burst down GWJ. It's going to be a lot of damage. Festive looking for the ultimate, it lands on Fool. Ice returns down, gets knocked on Slacking, and the Cataclysm falls down too, but still all members are alive. Jonjo trying to take down Festive on the backside. Slacking is able to take down Ice. There's a jungler down. Festive one auto attack away from dying. Uses E, but walks straight back into the Poppy to die. Slacking absolutely running down, kids. You cannot take down this Barney the dinosaur, and he's going to take down one more. Can now go to Jonjo.
Eyes on Slacking's ultimate as well.
And there we go. GWJ using Predator, able to take down Jonjo, so little mana, doesn't have flash available, and GWJ is able to pick up that kill. This is a big game for the top side of WSLA, and that is not going to be a Rift Tower as it times out, but it's going to be that mid lane turret.
It will be, and that's eventually, that's kind of what you wanted to score anyways with the Rift Tower. And I tell you what, Slacking is having one heck of a performance here on this Cho'Gath. He is unkillable, and he knows how much damage he can take. He knows when he can run down people, and it seems like DV just disrespects the tankiness available to Slacking. And bear in mind, we're only at 20 minutes, and this is how tanky the Cho'Gath is. We know that the later this game goes on, the more feast stacks that Slacking is able to secure for himself on this Cho'Gath, the stronger and tankier this pick will end up becoming. And it feels like right now, DV, they're facing the clock, but they're already behind at the time.
So looking at what Franklin's itemized, he's gone for the Lucidity boots, which means he's not going to go Luden's Echo, which means I doubt this Vampire Accept is going to Hextech Gunblade, which means he's probably going to go Blade of the Rune King, and then he's probably going to go Last Whisper. That's going to be kind of the exact build that he needs to go to deal with this Cho'Gath. who's not built armor yet, but is going to be able to use that percent health damage and eventually try and take down the Cho'Gath. He's the only person who's going to be able to do it, but we know Ezreal's not the best at killing tank. It's going to be all up to him, though. He's got the 3 kills. They've not been able to get this bot lane turret, despite what looks to seem to be a 2v2 advantage. But now we can see Festive and QEJ passing towards bot lane.
Oh, I love this invade so much. You know your bot lane's able to hold quite well, and if you bring them away, that tower is going to be taking more and more damage, as you see Franklin having to move into his own jungler's jungle. And with that, means that all of a sudden the push is able to be given over to Yet, and these are very nice little moves. The Vision's also in there now, in that jungle, and could see ISR getting caught out, possibly.
I am liking the wars that these teams are going for. That one there that Jordan 2 is just clearing, and the one that's been placed there that now ISR is clearing, is so good at getting control over the paths that the junglers can take and the buffs that are up. And nicely cleared, but a nice play there. QEJ pops the Predator and able to get a knock on Jordan 2, but the shield will stop the majority of the damage. And I think they might just be looking for priority over this dragon instead of the turret.
Look at Jonjo. He's decided to opt to come down, hold mid. But the push that Slack is going to be able to get in this top lane with that top lane tier 1 down is going to be huge. So with no one there to answer it, I worry. How are DV going to be able to handle it? There's now, Jonjo heading back up to the top side, but now means that Slacking is going to have priorities to move down into the enemy jungle, spot the camps that are up, or well, the lack of camps that are up in the first place, and secure some vision for himself.
You quite often see teams that fall behind, like we saw in the last game, just let themselves fall behind. You don't see any huge fights as Yet comes in. The enchanted crystal arrow lands a flash forward, the Q, and the final takedown from Yet. Very nicely played there as I was slightly behind. But nice kill, nice solo kill. They were able to abuse 2v1 kill. They were able to abuse. They knew that he was by himself, that Braum was just in no man's land, and that is a lot of pressure on that turret. And this is exactly what they need to get Dragon.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he heard you talking shit about his Ashe pick, and he's there to shut you up. What a fantastic ultimate there. To snipe Franklin out of that arcane shift himself. Now the bot lane tower under a lot of threat. Jonjo's doing nothing to slack. And now that dragon is going to be the next target for the side of WSLA. It is a big objective too. Look at it, it is an Infernal Dragon. We'll see what fight ends up getting pulled here.
For me, this is all about Lollyful. Yes, the 4 versus 3, but he needs to do something. It's going to get to a point where they just get outscaled. And QEJ just 1v1ing him on this backside. One ability, I think that was. And Lollyful is all the way down to half health. This is not looking good, but the TV comes down from Jonjo. Slacking is still in base drop to CC as well. Festive going to try and get a 3-man stun. It's going to be a lot. Full is able to take down the carry on the backside, as well as the fact that Icehour got the Drake. Still all alive for the side of Deja Vu. Icehour gets a 2-man knock of the Cataclysm. Huge Icehour to take them down, but now Slacking is still alive. Stronger and Festive is still alive as well. It's going to be a 2 versus 2, and who's stronger? Because I don't think they've got a way to kill Slacking. Stronger falls down. Icehour falls down. And now it's just Slacking running down Jonjo. Festive is going to try and get some poking on the backside too, but I think Slacking's going to end up picking this one up, and this is exactly what they needed. But he's providing an escape route for Jonjo. No, it's not. Slacking gets the final lock up as Jonjo flashes. Jonjo's going to escape. In the end, I don't know if that was too bad. DV able to take down 3 members, get those shutdowns, get the Drake. Yes, you lost the team fight, probably lost the tower as well, but maybe that's not too bad.
I believe it was a 4 for 4, but they were able to secure the Infernal Dragon. They have lost the bot tier 1, so a fairly even trade. The difference there is that, look at the strong man. Like, it perfectly illustrated my issue. They can get all the kills in the backline they want. Slacking ain't gonna die. And he caused so much havoc on the backline of DV that, like, he's just going to get tankier and tankier, and there's nothing that seems to be done right now by Deja Vu that's going to be able to stop this Cho'Gath from just becoming an unkillable monster like he is right now. And I don't expect Slacking to die this game whatsoever. Like, from the looks of things, it's just going to be a problem that will plague DV for the rest of this game, and they've just got to play so careful now around this pick of the Cho'Gath. And Slacking knows now he has his presence. He can just group with his team, and there's nothing that DV going to be able to do when they're grouped as a 5-man.
Jonjo this game has opted for a full magic resist kind of build, which makes sense given who was top side of the map, but he's not got that Bramble Vest, and I think that Bramble quite keeps this dinosaur that just heals constantly throughout the game. With every minion that he kills, he gets that healing coming in, and there is no way to really deal with that. They've got 2 ignites, and I don't think they're going to end up wasting it on Slacking. And without this bulk that gets completed by Ezreal, and without this ignite to reduce the healing, I just think that there just isn't a way.
And it's just, imagine if imagine how different this game is if they have a tradition, like a very much more traditional AD carry. Like they run in with like a Xayah or like a Vayne or Tristana, and then you sat there like, oh, well, no, we still have NDC, you can get them down. But the issue is that this Ezreal pick, and which is why I think it's a bit of a trap card in a lot of drafts, is that it's so hard to deal damage to any of these tanks because he's the only consistent damage dealer on his team. Sure, Diana has a lot of burst damage, but won't be dealing that sustained across the whole fight. S2 is the only real person who can do that, and even then, like you talked about earlier, he's still more edged towards that burst. So it feels like once that initial burst has come out, Slacken could just waltz in and be like, oh, I'm still alive, you can't do anything to me. As you see it right now, he's just able to walk at the mid lane with absolutely no fear.
Seeing what Fool can do on this Diana for me. If Fool can really show what he can do on this champion, show why he gets banned in almost every single game, then that's kind of DV's win condition. You know, Cho'Gath's fed, he's strong, he's tanky, but he can't 1v5. If they're able to take down Yetz, take down Festive, take down Gooey J, then it gets to a point where, oh damn, Slacking, you've not really done anything yet. That's what I want to see. That's what I want Fool to be able to do. But at the moment, it seems like I don't know what to do. Get mid prio, ARAM, Baron Vision. That seems to be what that's going to do.
It's what I like to call the low elo Baron dance, where you go mid as 5, push it in, and then maybe look to get some vision if you're lucky, and then head back down, and then go back forward. And you see now, yeah, go back down, get the vision, which they already have anyways. They're just going to sit here and defend the vision now, which I think is important. So if DV want to try and face jack, they need to be a little bit careful about that.
Festive's done a lot of work utilising his flash with his ultimate this game. Did he really? Oh, as you say, did he have an engage?
Oh, there we go.
Gets caught. So much damage goes down, and chomp goes Barney as Diana is taken down. And now there's no way they can get back into this one. Ezreal trying to get some poke, but look at QEG on the backside, trying to find Jarvan. The cast comes down. Jonjo trying to get some nice peel in. Franklin having to E away, but ends up going into the Cho'Gath knockup, and there's no way to kill them. They can't move down to see what Festive. I think that was a 4-man stun. It's absolutely huge. Franklin has to E away for the final Q. Festive falls down, but so does Ice Arrow as well. There's now a 3 versus 2 on the map. And yes, Ezreal's alive, but he doesn't seem to be able to kill Yetz and Slacking at the moment.
Oh, Slacking is 6-0-7. Jesus Christ, this man's a monster. I mean, quite literally, but, you know. Also, I mean, I have to say, yes, it's done a great job with these enchanted crystal arrows, and it's given them that extra engage tool that I think they need to try and kick off those fights, and it's helped have that extra give Slacking and UEJ a path into the fight to have someone to lock that CC down onto, and because of that, they're now able to push in the mid lane, secure down to the inhibitor turret, and also now they have their eyes on this next dragon coming up, which means that now the snowball starting to become a very real thing. That's a 4.5k gold lead for WSLI.
They've started the Baron as 3. Diana and Ezreal are around. Lollyful wants to do something, but just gets hit by another piece of CC. And there's another. They're just constant CC chains to do. And Slacking says, see ya! And he gets taken down. Just the amount of burst. Ice Arrow coming in. They're able to steal another Drake away from WSLA, but it's not going to be enough as the explosive cast says, see ya, Ice! And just look at the CC that they're able to do. Jonjo coming in. It's just 1 by 1 at the moment, isn't it, from WSLA? Is that enchanted crystal harrow hits absolutely nobody. Jonjo trying to run away. Slacking's low, has no mana. Maybe this is a fight that they want to take. No, now they just decide to back away and see you, Jonjo.
Yeah, even with no mana and like 25% health, Slacking's still a threat. And unfortunately, they lose out on that dragon. Once again, great steal by Ice, but unfortunately, they lose 2 on the backside of that. So really, I would not call work on that, because now the focus goes towards the Baron, and your jungler is not alive. Your big tank in the top lane is not alive. You've only got a Diana who's very squishy, Ezreal is very squishy, and Hachi and Braum. So realistically, are you going to be able to contest this Baron? I don't see it happening as Slacking.
Franklin's ultimate is about to be available. Is he going to go for it? Do they even know? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. That's sad. Come on, Franklin, lad. That could have been really, really pog, but never mind.
Yeah, it could have been.
WSLA get the Baron. We've seen now 2 games, Baron, where one team gets an early game lead, and that's basically the end of the game. You know, there was chances where you thought maybe WSLA get back into it. We wanted to push that narrative, but in the end, it's very much in control of DV. And now this game, it very much seems the same thing. What similarities is it that's kind of making this happen? Is it a draft thing? Is it kind of just the fact they win the early game? Is it the fact they're blue side? What's the difference makers in these 2 games?
Well, it's the proactivity of the junglers, like straight up. You saw the first game, Ice Arrow was all over the map. He was getting Volleyful and Jonjo these huge leads in their lanes that allowed them to start snowballing and becoming incredibly strong. This game, it's the other end of the spectrum. It's Gooey J who's gone top lane and made Slacking an unkillable monster, gone mid lane and shut out Lollyful on his comfort pick on this Diana. And really, it's down to how the junglers have played in each of these games that have meant which team have won and which team has lost. And it's about where they choose to gank. Do they choose to gank a bit, to farm up a little bit more? And that jungle pathing is so integral to League of Legends in general, and you're seeing it perfectly played out in each game as how these different junglers are impacting each lane.
There we go, boys. Better jungle wins. That is the case in these silver gold games so far. But seeing how not closely matched these teams are, but how very much coin flip these games are, given the quality of the teams and what they've got to offer. It's not the case that WSLA are bad, and it's not the case that DV are bad. It's just that case of how they're able to perform and execute on the compositions. And that just comes down to player versus player. As you look for this final push to get this inhib, Cho'Gath is just going to able to get a free bot lane turret if he wants to, because that Baron buff, oh damn, that helps out a lot when you're trying to siege down these turrets. Because, well, let's be honest, zero wave clear on the side of DV.
Yeah, and whilst they're able to push in this inhibitor to keep a lot of members of DV sat there in that mid lane, Slacking and Festive are starting to secure objectives on the bottom side of the map. They're able to secure that tier 2 for themselves, and now the inhibitor turret at the bot lane also under threat. And you have to think, I mean, you can't put out all these fires at the same time. Eventually, one of the objectives is going to crumble. That inhibitor on half health in this mid lane, but that tower in the bot lane also going quite low. What can DV do here? It feels like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Slacking has 5,000 health, as well as a crap ton of resistances.
Yep.
Even with every single ability being used on that guy, he's not dying. This is just unreal what this guy can do on this champion. I mean, popping Stoneplate just to take the mick at this point. It seems like a relatively easy game for WSLA, but that isn't the context of the whole series. We will be going into a Game 3. It's only a matter of time until WSLA prove that they aren't just going to get pushed over. They are still competitors in this league, and they do deserve that 2-0 record that they've got already. IceArrow, though, looking to try and get a final engage. Finding misses. Maybe there's a chance that they can out-execute. Lollyful tries to go onto Yet, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow takes him down. Festive flashes forward and gets 2 down. IceArrow's not going to be taken down. But the Nexus is about to end. WSLA even the standings. It's 1-1 in this series so far. It's Silver Scrapes, ladies and gentlemen, the Silver Gold League. We're going to go to a Game 3. Christ, what a mental one.
Certainly was, and like I say, jungle difference very much win the difference in both of the games. I mean, we've seen each jungler now individually pop off, and I think the difference is when IceArrow pops off, Lollyful pops off, but when Gooey J pops off, look at Slacking. Like, I can't help but just say he didn't die once, like a single time. This man was such an impenetrable, and if you remember at the start of the game, he had a really rough trade in that top lane himself, and it's just such a struggle. Look at the damage. He did the most damage in his team, for Christ's sake. Look at that Cho'Gath. And I feel like that has to be took away next game if you're going to try and draft a similar composition with no Tanksha. Because you saw in those late game fights, there was nothing they could do about Slag. He just walks all over him.
That is indeed the case. The narrative of the series, better jungle wins in the early game, and how you look to snowball, well, you can't stop it. We'll go into Game 3 shortly, so stick around for this one between WSLA versus DV.
can feel it somewhere inside, haunting. Like a drug I keep on wanting. There's a love that fits so perfect it's hard to believe. There's a reason I can feel my heart stop beating, and the air gets tough just breathing. I'm alone but I'm still feeling like someone's with me. It's strange, I know, but I feel like you're here with me, like chasing ghosts. I know you're out there. Time is unfair, 'cause I know you're out there somewhere, patient, waiting unaware, feeling like your grip might slip too soon. But I'm running, chasing speed and gunning. I'll be right there all of a sudden. I feel your heartbeat lead me straight to you. It's strange, I know, but I feel like you're here with me. It's like chasing ghosts. I know you're out there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this game between Ward Saves Lives Academy and Deja Vu. It's Silver Scrapes at the moment, 1-1 to both teams in this series. Winner really does have bragging rights over the rest of the league, aside from Sons of Capri Sun. Guys, get it in chat. Is it hashtag WSLA win or hashtag DV win for this final game? DV are on blue side, WSLA are on red side. Byron, who's winning this one? Who's taking the series?
You know, I had a prediction at the start of the series, DV 2-1. I'm sticking to my guns. I ain't gonna move it out. I think DV still has the potential to win this game. Now, what WSLA showed last game was very, very impressive. But I think if DV draft a composition that can actually deal with tanks, or they ban away crucial picks like the Cho'Gath, or maybe even take away the Gragas, I think that could really hamper Saki and Guijay's abilities that we saw pop off last game. And overall, I still feel like Deja Vu have the edge in this series, but we've seen stumps both ways now. So the question is, really, in the draft, is there going to be a clear weakness by one team? Are they going to focus in the same area? Or are they going to be different win conditions? And how are those going to execute? I feel that this draft is going to be huge for deciding who wins Game 3.
DV really sticking to their guns with their bans, and it looks like WSLA are going to be doing the same things as well. Diana was a priority pick for them after they countered the Nico with it. It didn't work out for them. Festive played really well on that champion. Will the Nico go through? No, it won't, as it's banned away from Festive, and maybe that gives Diana additional priority. Maybe it's going to mean Festive doesn't have as good of a performance, but it does mean that Gragas is available. And Guijay first picked it last time. He's not going to be afraid to pick it early again.
I honestly think you banned Diana here. I think with the Nico gone, oh, never mind the Nas getting taken away from Jojo. He's not able to have his hands on that pick. And I had a very quick, brief message exchange of messages with Slacking. He goes and says, anyone who thinks he can play a more boring lane than me is a fool. Cho'Gath is the nuclear option in the boring champ race to the bottom. Heard it there first. He's a big fan of the Unga Bunga type champion there. Caitlyn going to be locked in for Franklin, looking to have that lane priority, but Morgana once again took away from Major John T.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't happy with the Ezreal. It did well in Game 1, didn't do really anything in Game 2, so they've got Caitlyn. It's going to give you the priority. And Strong is just saying, we're not going to play against Caitlyn Morgana. Give me that champion. And unsurprisingly, Gooey J says, give me that fat man. Give me that drunkard. I'm going to carry this motherfucker. And we're going to try and take this game to the end. And drag us really good into Caitlyn as well.
And I feel like if DV don't take away the Cho'Gath now, I think they just pick it third. I mean, it might not be the best option compared to last game where it just completely shout on everyone else in the team, but at the same time, you look at it right now, and I could see that Cho'Gath really working out in the favor of WSLA if they choose it again, because Jonjo doesn't really have many champions in his pool that look to be aggressive, look to punish a tankier pick. They're more just also tanks. So I mean, it is smart by him to try and lock in that tanky pick and fight Jonjo in the Battle of the Dogs.
Harshy on his pocket pick, Zyra. Frankly, I just think he wants pro in his lane. He wants to be able to carry. He's not had the opportunity so far. And with this Caitlyn Zyra game lane, he's going to be able to do so. And that's the Tristana pick against Caitlyn Zyra. What?
Okay.
I don't know.
First of all, yeah, that's a bit of a rough one. But Tristana has a lot of push power. And trying to get Caitlyn Zyra off of your tower with the push that Tristana allows could be a very useful thing to do. Plus, alongside a Morgana and a Gragas, those ganks could be incredibly strong with that movement that Tristana allows with the rocket jump. But crucially, this is Tristana right now. She isn't locked into that AD carry position. Don't forget, Tristana mid and Tristana top also exist. And I don't know if these players will play it, but it is still a possibility. So it isn't necessarily that Tristana bot yet, but I could see it working out if Yetz really wants it.
I think putting it bot lane is giving yourself a death wish with the Morgana support. So I'm hoping that Festive's got this champion on lockdown and it's an interesting flex pick. They said, can you play it? He said he can. And the Ahri's banned away, which goes to show that maybe there is a mid laner that it is thinking about. Because he played the Ahri when the Nico was banned last time. So maybe that is a sign that Tristana is playing in that mid position. But Clyde also taken away from slacking. That's 3 top lane bans. Who are we expecting to see now as we close out this draft?
A tank. It's gonna be a tank from Slack. I don't know which one it's gonna be. I imagine something like Ornn could be a great takeaway from Jonjo because he does love to play that champion. We'll see what he really wants to rock up with. He might just leave counterpick actually and go for one of those typical bruiser aggressive matchups that we know Slacking for anyways. And it looks like he'll do so as that Talia comes in, probably towards that mid lane. I mean, that more likelihood that Tristana could be going down that bot lane.
Something that's quite intriguing about DV's draft is they've got Zyra, they've got Jarvan, and we know that Jonjo plays Kennen. We've got such a team fight and wombo combo lane here. You could even see the Orianna mid maybe, and just see so much potential in what this can do. And Nivea, another great choice. But that's into a Gragas and a Morgana who are fantastic at disengaging those kind of team fight plays. That is an Anivia pick into the Talia.
Oh.
Byron, your favourite champion's been locked in.
Yeah, but I don't like it. I really do not like this lock-in. Now, I'm an Anivia player. Let me tell you, one of her worst matchups are already in Sonsflare, because they can push her in super hard and then roam. And sure, Anivia can push back, but she can't do anything in terms of the roaming bit. So Talia and Orion So can take advantage of Anivia so hard in the game, because also their ranges are just out of range of Anivia stuff, and it makes it super hard for Anivia to do a lot versus those kind of champions. So in terms of that lane matchup, I'm not a fan. Certainly not. But in a team composition as a whole, if you want to just hold mid and look to get advantages in that bot lane, then yeah, sure, Anivia works out overall in the composition as, like I said, Slack is going to pick a tank, and it will be Sion this game. Unga bunga, he says.
Well, we saw last game that, in my opinion, Jonjo was beating Slacking in the 1 versus 1. As you say, we saw it early game. Jonjo had complete control. Slacking taking some just wrong trades. Did that risky play to try and break the shield. Poppy ended up getting it and took the advantage. We know that Ornn is so strong in the early game, out damaging most champions just with the base stats that he's got. Obviously, he doesn't have a shield anymore and can potentially stop the Sion knockup with his Unstoppable. We saw Gooey J make the difference. For you, the top side of the map, how does he actually go in this game? Is Slacking going to have the help of Gooey J to win, or do you think Icehour will step it up as he did in game 1?
I reckon that Gooey J will put a more focused top lane again in the same vein as game 2. And you say Ornn has a lot of damage. Don't disrespect Sion damage either. He has a lot of that behind him. And realistically, it's actually quite risk averse. And it's quite nice to gank this top lane because, sure, whilst maybe Jonjo was able to get the 1-for-1. But even then, if you kill the Sion, he just comes back and kills you. And then it's a 1-for-1 and you're tanked, so it's fine. And it's actually Gooey J comes out nicer because he gets the assist. So overall, I mean, I like this top lane matchup for Slacken quite a lot. I think jungle. I mean, we saw this matchup play out in game 2, and J took the best of it. So I'm imagining the same this time. Mid lane, I think Anivia gets smashed by Festive. I think the only issues coming bot lane, like you talk about, Tristana is going to have such a hard time into Caitlyn Zyra with the amount of range and poke they have, especially in the early game, where Tristana really lacks any sort of range to get near those minions. So the question is, what can the rest of WSLA do to alleviate some pressure from that bot side that is inevitably going to come with Caitlyn Zyra?
This is the one game where I think Franklin just needs to take teleport. Listen, he's going to win this 2v2 no matter what. There's nothing that Morgana and Tristana can just do in this lane. Yeah, okay, you've landed your root, your binding onto one of them, and you've black shielded Zyra's root. It doesn't matter. You still lose every single trade. There's a potential for an all-in at level 6 where Tristana can look for something and just try and burst him. But Zyra's burst is stronger than Tristana's, especially with the Ignite and the AP that she's going to build. It's going to be so hard for Tristana to lane. Franklin took teleport. He can just constantly abuse this bot lane. He's going to get tower platings and he's going to get this just free control. And if you've got bot lane prio, you've got Drake. And if you've got Drake prio, then you get mid as well. And that gives Anivia the freedom that they need to stop this Talia roaming. I do wish he had TP, but even then it's going to be such an advantage. And it's whether Gragas can either punish it or Icehour can keep it alive, as well as his top lane balance that we're seeing. There's a lot of different changes that we can see in this game, a lot of different variables. But for you now, we've seen the draft. Who do we think is going to take this one? You said DV earlier. Are you still confident?
I'm not as confident, I'll be honest. I think I prefer the WSLA draft. Personally, I mean, the bot lane's a big weakness, but I like, Talia into Anivia is such a good matchup. I love that so much. You go into Genji's Gragas into the Jarvan, which worked out very well last game, and Slacking's on another scaling tank that's going to get tankier and tankier as the game goes on. So really, I mean, it looks like the pieces are still in place for WSLA to do the same thing they did game 2, whereas the mid jungle duo that I think is so important for Deja Vu, instead of having a Syndra or a Diana in the mid lane, they have an Anivia now, which is so anti what I expect Deja Vu to do. They're putting their eggs in the bot lane basket, which can very well still work, but yet and Stronger have shown, whilst they've not been very good at pushing really hard advantages, they've been great at holding down that lane. And I feel like, sure, they're in a disadvantaged matchup now, but I still feel like they're going to be able to do that. So I don't want to change their prediction because I don't like switching where I'm going. I think if I was a betting man, I'd still keep it on DV. But at the same time, WSLA, they set themselves up very, very well in this draft. And I think they do have the superior draft coming into game 3.
It is indeed going to be a close one. I asked chat once again to get your predictions in for who's going to take this series. DV 1-1 in the league so far, and 1 game compared to WSLA's 2-0 record so far. They could make it 3-0 and confirm themselves as the best team or one of the best teams in the league if they're able to take down this predicted top team of Deja Vu. It's going to be about this bot lane. It's going to be about this jungle once again. Which jungler will come out on top? The predicted best jungler in the league, Ice Arrow, the biggest sandbagger that's ever been in the league ever. On this Jarvan pick, on this early game pick, can he make it happen? Or is Gooey J the sub, the underdog? Who's this guy? Omega Lol? He showed it in game 2. He's got the potential. He's got the same champion again in game 3. How's he able to perform? That's the questions that we're asking in this one. Who has that early game impact to get their team ahead for them to snowball? A lot of variables, team fights, disengages, split pushing, tanky motherfuckers in the sidelines. Who knows who's going to win? We'll find out as we load into the game. Byron, what are you expecting? Which lane gets prioritized from these junglers?
Okay, I'll answer your question in a second. As an Anivia main, why are you picking prehistoric Anivia? What terrible skin. Come on. You got Festival Queen available. That's such a beautiful skin. Up for that. If you're going to go mean bad, pick like Hextech or something, or Noxus Hunter. Come on now. But anyways, where do I see the action happening? Is that what I assume you were asking? I think mid lane, I think Talia is going to win very hard. I think bot lane, we know that Caitlyn and Zyra will win very hard. So the tipping point for me is this top lane, which is sure 2 tanks like last game, but I said it wasn't an important match last game, and that was a complete lie, really. But now, I mean, I'm expecting Slacking to still have an aggressive performance. I mean, Jonjo is still good in this Ornn as well. It's one of his key picks. Now, look at this little move in the bot lane. I'm quite liking this. Also,
Harshly placed a ward in game 1 and hasn't done in this game. Stronger with binding available. Harshly walks away, but he's still in range of the Q. Flashes away from it. Nicely played, but they do get Zyra's flash. Very important.
Also, quick update. We have had information from Admin Joycey in my DMs letting us know that Lottie4 will be banned for playing such a bad skin on Anivia. Unlucky. Apparently, his appeal will be his gameplay. So, the question is, can Lottie4 survive the ban by bringing a pop-off performance versus this Talir?
Josie is maybe the only mid laner who more embraced Anivia than Byron. So it's certainly a lot of judges on him today, picking this Glacial Bird, picking the Articuno of League of Legends. We'll see if he can get this one started. Both junglers once again starting red buff. Looks like Sion might be a little bit too late, although I've just pressed the button, it's massively messed everything up.
Well played.
If you press Q, it changes the layout of yeah. Yo, Travis, press Q.
Oh god! Oh no! I know it locks onto someone. It locks onto someone, so you have to go their active camera instead. Like change it back. It just changes to lock on to like. Okay, let me check. What's W do? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so. Oh,
or maybe your Q is my W. Anyway, let's see what these junglers do, because Iso has gone for an invade on the blue buff.
He has, and I do quite like that move a lot. It's going to take a lot out of GWJ, who really wants this blue buff to have a lot of impact. One thing I do want to say as well, though, is that GWJ spotted that the fact that he isn't at his blue buff himself, so maybe he'll be questioning, where is Iso? Is he at my blue buff? And maybe thinking about that.
Let's have a look at bot lane. I'm certainly liking what Iso has decided to do there. Nice flash from Yetz, but it's bit of a close one there, I've got to say. Iso is saying, that's my buff, let's go bot lane. And if GWJ is available, if he sees, hang on, he's not gone for his blue buff yet, what's going on? I'm going to go and take it. If this vertical jungle does happen, well, that gives Caitlyn and Zyra so much freedom to do whatever they want in this lane. Are they just good enough to execute? That's going to be the main question.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, can they execute that? And, I mean, we'll have to see. I still feel like we saw it there a little bit, but the all-in from Tristana and Morgana is a huge thing to consider. I mean, Caitlyn and Zyra certainly not the tankiest of champions, and the burst potential from a Tristana is huge if she's able to get it off. It's just whether or not Yetz can survive any of this poke enough to be able to actually land an all-in without Ysara popping in to say hello.
The root misses, and that's a lot of damage onto Hashi. This Zyra is like his favourite pick. Now, I don't think he's very good at it, but it's his favourite pick. And whether he can pull this one off now is going to be a big difference to how this game goes. Because I tell you, if Tristana gets a lead in this lane, then damn, this game is over.
Yeah. One thing that I'm also expecting Slacking to go in this top lane, he is a big fan of the W max on the Sion, which will increase his scaling potential with that passive on the W, making him tankier, but also gives a lot of damage and a good bit of shielding too. So we'll see how that one works out for him, as if I click over him he is choosing to do that W max build that he does love so much.
There comes the EQ from Endeavor, does the flash but misses the combo, and Festive just able to get away despite having no mana. GWJ now comes in, uses the flash and is straight onto Hashi, taking a lot of damage. The root comes down into 2, but he's gonna fall down probably. Couple more autos is gonna do it. Yes, doesn't have flash. One more auto from GWJ will pick it up. Bye Zyra, and that's exactly what they needed for this bot lane. Exactly what they needed.
Yeah, it certainly is now top lane looking like a little bit of a what's it called? Wet noodle fight. There we go. I nailed it. But Slacking, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Isaro, that's a finish. There goes Slacking. He's going to survive for a bit longer.
See you, Slacking, mate. Your zombie's not going to do much at the moment except for push that wave a little bit more and get that cannon minion. Never mind, he missed it.
Hey.
Isaro, nice return there. He knew where GWJ was on the map and was able to pass the top side. I think another important thing to note is the fact that GWJ never invaded Isaro's blue side jungle, which means that he actually kind of got 3 sides of the map. Yes, he didn't take the Wolves and Gromp from GWJ, but he did get the buff, he did get controller, and it's kind of given him this early game tempo advantage. Although tempo doesn't mean anything if you don't do anything with it. The game's very, very even at the moment, and we saw in those last 2 games, these junglers make the difference. Who's going to make the difference as we get closer and closer to level 6?
Yeah, that really is the question. I think GWJ has that kill there, he has the Predator boots available, so could certainly look to make a few more ganks happen, but he is behind on that farm, so he is going to want to catch up a little bit, thanks to a nice little blue buff taken the start from Ice Arrow. But really, you're looking at the matchups, and I tell you what surprised me. That bot lane all in, so good from Tristana Morgana alongside GWJ, and that first blood going to be huge for giving Tristana Morgana a little bit of momentum in this lane that really, like you said, they should be hard losing.
Yeah, The thing is yes, Caitlyn and Zyra win it, but they win it based off poke. They win it off the fact of zoning and manipulating the waves. And these are some complicated things to do, and especially being focused the entire laning phase to make sure that you're doing it. And at the end of the day, if you just press W on Tristana and you press Q on Morgana, you're probably going to win. The thing is that Franklin and Harsh need to make sure they're so low on health it doesn't happen. Yes, it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Just press your abilities and press your auto attacks, and they're going to fall down low health. But they've been pushing in non-stop. They've not been getting the poke, and there you go. Yeah, it's a little bit behind on CS, but not behind at all in kills, or at least kill pressure. And it's going to be okay now. It's going to feel fine.
Yeah, Rooney. Jonjo doing good work in his top lane though. Despite Slacking having the XP lead, he is still having the worst for wearing this trades. But look at Festive. He's roaming up here. Unstoppable Force is available. What is it called? I don't even know what it's called. Unstoppable Onslaught. There we go.
The knockup won't land. Jonjo trying to escape, but you're stuck between a rock, a hard place, and a turret. He's going to try and path down towards the dry bush. Festive burns flash. He has the wall bonus of movement speed, is able to pick it up in the end. Little bit slow, probably a waste of a flash, but was able to take him down. Slacking didn't use any summoners, and at the same time as that, somehow they were able to get Dragon without any priority in mid lane whatsoever. DV, that's not good enough.
Yeah, it really isn't, and you can't be letting that kind of thing happen. I mean, Slacking, it was getting the worst for all those trades at the top lane, but then you're seeing Festive have this priority around the map that you kind of expect to have against Anivia, especially pre-6. She was able to make that move because he had the XP advantage. And this is where the Talia comes in as that Anivia counter, is that she's able to make all these moves around the map, get her sidings ahead, whilst Anivia sat there like, I can hold the lane, I guess. Like, it is good, but Slacking could get you in.
Control, uses the ultimate, doesn't get the knockup because of the ultimate from Slacking, comes down to counter it. But he just seems to have so much control with the damage in the matchup. Like, Slacking is trying his best, but the mana differences, obviously QEJ able to buy, Jonjo able to buy items in lane. It doesn't do a lot, but speaking of QEJ, he has popped his Predator and he's moving down to the bot side. Yes, uses his rocket jump forward, and both flashes burnt from the bot lane. They're both going to be safe and get out scot-free, but that just means that for the next 5 minutes, those champions, well, they're very, very vulnerable if that gank happens again.
Yeah, they will be, and this Caitlyn and Zyra, they are very strong in terms of priority, pushing the lane, getting a big CS lead. First of all, the CS lead isn't that big that they've got. Secondly, they don't have any flashes now, because when they're pushed in, they're so vulnerable to ganks. And when you're against the likes of a Gragas and a Talia, and even a Sion to an extent, you can't just be shoved in all the time, because you will be punished for it, and it feels that they're not setting up the correct vision in order to let themselves push, and to let themselves use the power that they have in this lane.
I mean, you look at the bot lane for WSLA, they've got everything available until Talia hits very well. So as soon as she gets ultimate, it could be curtains for the bot lane. And as I say, if Yetz gets fed, it could be curtains for DV, because both junglers are hovering around. They're trying to push in Yetz. Ice Arrow goes in onto the Gragas, gets a knock up. He's solo. He does have Cataclysm available.
Oh, they go back in.
QEJ goes back over the wall, but gets taken down. Yetz is able to pick up the kill with the buster shot. Now he's going to try and take down Harshly. Falling very, very low, jumps in, pops the heal, a lot of damage coming down now. Franklin's left alone. Strongest going to be able to get the stun, but here comes Lollyful on the Anivia, trying to keep him alive. Festive misses the Q, and he's going to take a lot of damage from Fool, who's running out of mana. The barrier's close to keep him alive, but it's a nice wall. The knockback keeps him safe. Festive's going to walk out scot-free as it gets. I don't think anyone falls on the side of DV. Stronger, going to put him down. I think he still has Egg available, though. No one's close to help him out, but does have the boost advantage over the Morgana. Festive using the wall for the movement speed. The flash forward from Stronger, but the flash answer from Lollyful is going to mean that he's okay in the end. Ice Arrow falls down, QEJ falls down, but in the end it's all okay. Ice Arrow finds Stronger.
Yeah, but nothing else going to come out of that. And in the end, it is a positive trade for WSLA. 2-0-1 now is Festive, despite the fact that Lollyful does have a solid CS lead in that mid lane. It's thanks to the roaming about that Festive's been able to do onto that added movement speed. You see, he's always faster to all these fights in the side lanes, and if that's the way that WSLA want to play, well, they've got the champions for it, certainly. And now, this bot lane matchup that you were saying, Tristana, what are you doing picking that? That's inting. Oh, guess what? It's 1-0-3 right now, and this kid has done nothing.
That is indeed the case, and I think partly you've got to criticise Ice Arrow and compliment QEJ for where they're putting this priority. Obviously, right now, QEJ's top lane and looking for a gank, but the vision control they've had bot lane has been huge. The cask is available from Dewey J, which will knock John Joe back. Does have W available. He'll have to use that to dodge it. Uses the flash to get rid of the Q or get away from the Q from Sion, and he ends up okay. We have to continue that point. There's always been so many wards for the side of WSLA in the bot lane, which has kept them so safe. Now Caitlyn and Zyra are able to go and clear it, and even now, even despite the kill advantage and the gold advantage for Tristana, Caitlyn and Zyra should still win the 2v2 just in control, but the Predators drop, the explosive cast comes in, Lollyfool trying to get away, does have Egg available, the slow and smite comes down, so does the stopwatch. Ice Arrow is coming, the stun does land on Festive, the EQ as well is so much damage, the electrocute comes through, and Anivia takes down and shuts down the Talia in the mid lane.
Major's on 2.
So much damage. No summoners available. Yetz uses his ultimate for finish off the kill, but the ultimate of Zyra actually interrupts the rocket jump, which means Yetz can't continue the push. And there's a poke coming down from a dead Zyra.
Yeah, but that's a 2-0 and 3 Tristana already at 11 minutes. Well, Tristana really should be the weakest of that lack of range. And now Major John 2, you have to throw questions about his performance here. He's 0-3-0. You cannot be dying that much. And Ice going to be able to clear this control ward with Yetz backing off in the end.
Yeah, I've got to give a lot of credit to the bot lane of WSLA. Even in the first game, they didn't particularly play badly. Yes, they were playing the Zyra Khan, and yes, they could have done more, but I still think they played okay. They were never the reason that they lost. In Game 2, they really showed what they could do with a lead, and now in this game, they're showing what they shouldn't be able to do, but doing it very well as John Joe uses his ultimate in the top lane. Sion still has his available if he wants to escape, and John Joe, he's running away. Slacking gets behind him. The Unstoppable going to stop a little bit of damage. This could go either way, but Slacking does have his passive available. One more attack will secure it for Slacking. The solo kill in the top lane. Those two beefcakes can have fun in the end.
And as Slacking says, you can't fight him in the tank-on-tank matchup. He is accustomed to these boring lanes, as he says himself. He's going to be able to secure a second plating for himself on this top lane. Oh no, he might not be able to. But he is incredibly low after this. But with that kill going down, it gives Slacking a lot of priority in this top lane, but also means that WSLA know that there's going to be no threat from Jonjo here as this on is positioning quite aggressively around this bot side.
This Drake is now available for both these teams. It's a second mountain, which for WSLA could be quite huge if they want to try and force this game down to get additional advantages. Another binding onto Harshy. Harshy's got to be careful with this. That's the reason that they're losing these matchups, is just stay behind minions. Your poke is so long range and it's so oppressive that you don't need to step up for it. And it's just got to give credit to Stronger, really, doing so much in this lane.
Yeah, you really do, and I think Yetz and Stronger showing a good bit of synergy together on this Tristana, kind of knowing when to go in. Wonderful, like you throw a catch out here, but not gonna happen. And it's just kind of all calming down a little bit for these teams. I think overall you've got WSLA certainly have the kill advantage, but you look at the CS differentials, and especially in mid and bot lane, it's still in favor of Deja Vu. So the goal lead's still looking fairly even as we head into about the 14-minute mark here, when the platings are going to fall down.
Just to give a little bit of understanding, as there's another wet noodle fight in top lane. In the mid lane, Anivia is actually ahead by 900 gold, and in the bot lane, Tristana is only ahead by about 500 gold. So we can see that there is a clear difference in what CS is actually meaning for these teams, as well as the shutdown that Anivia was able to get onto the Talia as well.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between the gold that Anivia has and what Talia has is that Anivia's gold has been strictly more like one-on-one plays kind of thing, whereas when Talia has moved about, it's not only given gold to her, but it's spread that gold across the map, and it's been making the plays on the side, and I think that's what's edged out WSLA in terms of the extra gold they have above right now, is the fact that their plays that they're making are very much free-form men roaming around the map, and whereas with DV, it's more individual, like trying to sustain priority and hold out individually. But the worry is that Ice Arrow really should be there for a lot of these fights that WSLA are trying to push forward here. And that W max starting to do a bit of damage there from Slacking.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that DV are letting themselves get pushed in. They're going to try and freeze this wave now, and Ice Arrow is kind of hovering around. The issue is with Zyra, you can't force a fight. You just kind of poke them down, and eventually you press R on Caitlyn and they die. And it's now kind of a situation where there's actually not much that they can do. I'm wondering how much gold Tristana sat on. Only 878, which isn't enough to straight out buy the Infinity Edge, as he took time to buy the Kirke Shard, or whatever the hell that thing's called, which is kind of a waste of gold, really, when you want to get the item spike. I want to see more from this Talia for WSLA. You said how much it can control and abuse this Anivia, but when you look at mid lane turret, it's so low, and Talia's really not done a whole lot.
Oh, yeah, I mean, So Leah's advantage as well over Anivia is that she outranges her, and any champion that can kind of outrange or outmaneuver Anivia is going to be a problem for that Cryo Phoenix. But because of the push she's able to have, she secured first turret as well, which means that the goalie in the mid lane now 1k towards this Anivia. But crucially, once again, it's about the global pressure that Fest has been able to bring, and with the pressure that Fest has had down bot lane, it means that Yetz and Stronger are now the ones with the lead, but
TP from Jonjo and Slacking comes down. Nice rotation to get mid and walk down bot. J looking for it onto Caitlyn, but there comes the Ornal, knocks back, he gets a 2-man knock up. J knocks the Jordan 2 into the front line, but gets so much damage onto Yetz. Franklin's still alive and able to take down J. He's going to be safe on the back line now. Another engage from Jonjo, but Slacking falls low. EQ from Iso will try and take him down, but in the end he gets safe, and there's a binder from Stronger. The Caitlyn ult will come down, but not take down Slacking's shield at all. Still weak. It's only level 9, but that's just one kill goes down from J. But let's talk about the macro decisions that happened there, with DV focusing mid and roaming bot, and WSLA focusing bot and roaming mid, and in the end, it's DV who get the Drake.
It is DV who end up with the priority. It's J who overextends a little bit into that front line. Unfortunately, the explosive cast kind of made that fight a bit look disjointed, but in the end, it will be DV coming out with a priority, have that dragon, and really, I'm still not, despite the fact that that fight goes over to Deja Vu, I'm still really not confident in what they have. I mean, I do think their scaling is looking quite strong. I mean, the Anivia and the Caitlyn, the late game team fight with an Ornn as their front line, sounds like a recipe for success, but I look on the other side, I see a Sion who's going to scale up to be a tanky beast. I see a Tristana who in the late game is one of the best late game AD carries in the game and will actually outrange that Caitlyn at level 18. So overall, I mean, it's still going to be a fairly even game across the power spikes. It's just depending on who can come out on top and use what they have currently. Because the thing is that now you see that WSLA is still making proactive moves across the map, looking to secure this Rift Herald now as another objective for themselves.
Yeah, they did lose the second Mountain Drake, but able to get that Rift Herald 2 minutes before it despawns, which is going to be very key for them to getting down that mid lane turret, which DV have already managed to do on their side. Yeah, I think the key thing for me is the fact that J knocked Harshy onto the Tristana, and Tristana just got bursted down and was out of the fight. If that doesn't happen, if Tristana's able to just front-to-back team fight with these big frontline champions in front of her, then she's just going to pop the hell off. There's nothing that really anyone on the enemy team can do about it, except maybe the Zyra. But let's have a look at top lane here. They're looking for something now. The binded misses. And Anivia now slowly walking upwards as well. This could be a play for top lane turret.
Yeah, it could be. But J, I mean, he I'm sure he thought he was alright there, but then sees Lobbyfall stepping up and has to back off, unfortunately. But WSLA, they're playing around with these bushes now. They really want to make a play happen. As J, Predator has been popped.
Can he get onto Harsher? That's the question. Black Shield comes in. Nice explosive cast. Good flash though, but yes, he's going to be able to take down the kill. So much damage coming down from Zyra. Uses heal, but it's not going to be enough. And Zyra's able to take down the kill onto Yetz. It's a 1-for-1, but here comes Festive. Iso are thrown down onto the side of the ball. Has to flash over it. The binding misses. Cat comes on to J, but so much damage coming down from the Talia, and he gets taken down by J. Now here comes Lollyful looking for a fight, but in the end they're all able to disengage. The Caitlyn ultimate is flashed in front of by Festive to stop the J, and the Kraken's falling down. Nice fight in the end, 2-for-1 for WSLA, and at the same time, Slacking is having so much freedom on this bot lane turret.
Oh, he certainly is, and Festive is stronger. They have that wave to just dissuade any sort of push that Franklin and Lollyful want to make on this top side. So overall, fairly even trade for both teams, but it's Slacking who has the priority bot side. Is now stealing away the red buff of Ice Hour, taking control of the jungle. I mean, smart play by him, and it's now DV losing a bit of that priority that they had.
Game 1, we saw DV demolish WSLA. In Game 2, we saw WSLA obliterate DV. In Game 3, it's so close. We can see a 200 goal difference between these two teams. Yes, J still has the Rift Hell, but what can we do with it? There's so many questions still to be left answered. So much scaling on both teams, so much team fight potential. It's all about execution. It's all about macro. It's all about the shot calling. This game is truly getting spicy. This series is getting great. Who's going to be the better team? We are going to find out in this game. 20 minutes in. It's very, very close. Byron, what is the game plan for these teams now?
Oh, well, you mean... For both of them, they have quite similar plans in the sense that I feel like DV want a front-to-back team fight now. But 20 minutes in, they're going to group up as best they can and enforce fights like that. Because realistically, if you're trying to fight an Anivia Caitlyn on the back line with an Ornn frontlining alongside that Jarvan, it can work out very, very well. The issue is that when they do that, they have to concede side lane priority, and that's the issue here, is that Slashing and, Yets are very happy to just sit in the side lane, push really, really hard, and force the side of DV to split up. And I was thinking, if DV is split up, that they struggle a lot, because they don't have that front line that their team needs, whereas champions like Tristana and Talia are still quite sustainable without a front line, whereas Anivia and Caitlyn, incredibly immobile, so...
And here is the Rift Tower pop. Caitlyn and Zyra showed themselves topside. It's relatively free, they think, and it looks like it will be. Ornn, Jarvan, Zyra, and Anivia are all collapsing on mid lane for a potential 4v3 fight. Cataclysm is available if they're going to look for it, but it is a 2 versus 1 on the top lane. This Rift Tower will get one more proc, and they back away safely. Ornn looking for the engage, gets no knockups, and I think they're going to be fine in the end. And it looks like Tristana's going to get another turret in the top lane too, unless Franklin says something about it.
Franklin is trying to say something about it, but that poke. But it's going so low that next hit really on that top lane tower is going to knock it down. It's just whether or not DV can protect it well enough. They're starting to move members around this river, seeing what they can do, but unable to force anything right now, and seems very tentative from both teams. They're a little bit scared to push up to each other, and in the end, that's going to work out in WSLA's favour, because they have pushed across a lot of the map.
Full getting the stun and slacking the walls good as well. Jonjo going to look for something but doesn't get the knock-up. Gooey J's here to answer it. Lolly full getting taken off. Stronger's here as well. No one else is around. The egg gets popped. They're going to be able to take down Anivia. Jonjo now trying to deal with Festive. Jonjo is stuck so badly here. Franklin trying to help him out, but the flash is not going to keep him safe. One man knock-up won't be enough for Stronger takes him down to. That's 2 people down. That's Jonjo and Fool down. There's 5 people left alive for WSLA, and they're pinging straight for that Dragon, sorry.
Oh, I say Baron's quite a bold call here. They are going to be able to secure that Dragon for themselves. I would have preferred it if someone went up top lane and just tried to force Franklin away from that wave to try and secure that top lane tower, but no, they're just going to go and try and secure that Dragon instead, get that Ocean Drake for themselves. The extra regen will help, and also trying to just get some push around the lanes, because that's really what's important here, is trying to make sure that they can have priority across the map here. But they've left Franklin alone in this top lane. That means that top lane tier 1 going over to Franklin despite the fact that DV lost the fight.
Absolutely incredible. It was a 2,000 gold difference. Now basically a 1.5. When waves get picked up, it will be a little bit different. But as you say, these teams seem very scared to start a fight, just to commit to a 5 versus 5 or a 4 versus 4 and just make the game excel if they had the confidence in themselves. And it seems like they're too scared to lose. And what happened there was Jonjo kind of maybe looked for something after Fool got the stun. He ended up getting caught out. The rest of WSLA reacted, and DV weren't there to commit. They didn't say they wanted to start a fight. And both teams need to make sure that that's what they're doing. Get vision around Baron, group up, use what you've got. I think DV can really look to abuse side lanes with this Talia, but when you've got a Zyra, when you've got an Anivia inside a Cataclysm, that guy's dead every single time. You've just got to be there to try and execute on it, but say WSLA, sorry, doing well to control these side lanes.
Yeah, they certainly are right now, and Deja Vu, they bring 4 members up to the top side, but unfortunately not able to score anything. The TP coming through though.
Slackin comes in, here comes Festive on his wall as well. Franklin is stuck, has to use the flash, gets away. No one falls down. Jonjo does have TP available if you want to try and help out this one. They're going to try and defend the waves. Predator is parked, but now runs out. The tower will fall down in the end. They just commit TP and 5 members and say, right, we need to get this down. Let's break open this game. Will the push continue? That's the question. Jonjo's walking up, or are they just going to go for Baron?
I don't think they go for Baron here. I think they get vision around it, and they try and bait out someone to overextend. I think if you go for the Baron here, it's bitten. That's what they're able to do. John just hiding around the corner here with that Ornn horn available. Question is, can he use it? And make it land.
Every ultimate available for DV. They're not behind. They've still got. This Caitlyn's got an Infinity Edge and a Rapid Fire Cannon. That's a lot, but they get the pick onto Stronger, and Zyra takes him down. Out of absolute nowhere. Stronger has flash available, has Black Shield, but just misses both, and that's how easy it is to get a pick with this team comp.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that Stronger going down there is going to be huge, because not only does that give DV priority in this mid lane, but now with priority in the mid lane, it should mean they're able to establish a nice vision line across the map if they're able to do so, and gives them control over this Baron pick, crucially, which we were on about WSLA having some control of about a minute ago.
The Baron dance has now started as they go back and forth like waves on an ocean. Which team will look to strike first and which team will out-execute the other to make this game theirs? It's just teams being scared, and it seems to me like DV are more scared than WSLA are, and maybe that's just due to trust? I don't know. Maybe it's because he lost the last game. If the fight was to start now, if it was a 5 versus 5 team fight, in your opinion, who wins?
Oh, it's such a tough one to call. I think I'd probably give it to WSLA just because of that gold advantage. Like, I feel like both teams are very even right now, and if execution we're saying is even, then I think WSLA do win it. Tristana has a lot of burst damage, and I feel like anyone who tries to, like Ice Arrow, tries to like maybe make a play in the box, and that's like one of the squishy targets. I think he just gets bursted down before he can get all of his abilities activated, and really it would be very close though. It's hard to call in itself, and that's why it's so exciting now, and that's why both teams are very, like I said, tentative to go at each other because they're not sure who wins this really.
Slacking has its ultimate available. Gooey J potentially looking as On has showed bot side. 5 members of WSLA around mid lane, and here comes the wall. And both Zyra and Caitlyn get caught. Here comes the unstoppable force, and it takes down Majordan 2, which is the biggest threat for yet so far. Gooey J still feeling low. Icehour trying to get as much damage as possible. Nice knock up from John, which is going to take down a lot of members. But yes, it's free hitting on the backline. Nice Nivea. Slow is going to do a lot of damage to Slacking. Nice knock up from Icehour with the Caitlyn 2. Yes, he did flash and a heal to get out, but he still doesn't survive. Slacking force down 2, but still has passive available. Lots of members are falling down. What can Talia do to pick up this team fight with Slacking helping him out? Lollipop takes down Festive. This is a great fight for DV as 4 members are down. For WSLA is only Stronger left alive. And what is the play? I think they're going to push down mid turret.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that is such a huge gold swing for Deja Vu. They have all these scaling champions, and they're starting to just hit the power spikes that they need. Now that top lane cracked, not top lane, that's a mid lane cracked open there. And in the end, it did a great team fight win there, and crucially, I feel like the positioning around that Anivia ultimate was just not good from WSLA. You cannot be sat there, standing in a glacial storm. It's just never going to work out for you, and crucially, it's just that tick damage goes on and on and on, and Slacking unable to survive that fight, despite the fact he should be this tanky beast right now.
Has the adaptive helmet, should be good against the Anivia, but just wasn't enough. I think Yex was just saying, Zyra's the only problem. Kill Zyra, I'll be fine, and it wasn't the only problem. When Icehour was able to get on top of you, when Franklin's doing damage, when Hoshi still just drops down his ultimate before he dies, it still does a lot, and yes, is opted for a BF sword instead of the second attack speed item, which is normal. I think maybe he's going for a Bloodthirster, which is a bit strange. But we'll see if he's able to make that work. Icehour goes in. Will it be another steal? It will be the 3rd steal of the game for Icehour. He'll fall down, but that'll mean a second Mountain Drake. These Barons are going to fall fast with an Anivia.
Oh, they certainly are. We actually see only full positioning around this top side, but not with the rest of his team, crucially. And that could mean a difference. CJ, though, what are you doing there, buddy?
Caught out very, very hard, and John goes out to pick up that kill. And WSLA, you said they had the advantage in the team fights, but it's been going from bad to worse since you said that. And yes, it's on you, my friend. You're on this late game, you're on this hyper carry, you got the early game advantage, which is exactly what you need. You've not gone for like a Phantom Dance, which would have been really great here. You've opted for this, probably Bloodthirster. Will you make that work? A nice turn from Lollipop, and that's triggered On to go in. To Franklin getting a lot of damage down onto Yates. On misses the second knock-up from his ultimate. And in the end, Yates is probably going to be forced to base. He is indeed, as Jarvan is back alive.
Oh, but I think the goal there wasn't to win the fight, it was to zone off the members of WSLA, as now the Baron possibly looking to be started off. Doesn't look like they want to start it just yet. They want to wait for their jungler to arrive and try and win the ensuing fight. We see Tristana and Gygas not in the fight right now. Only 3 members of WSLA trying to defend this position, and Slacking needs to be careful about how he positions here.
Festive not enjoying this Baron dance whatsoever. He says, what are you doing? I'm just going to go take your turret. And it looks like exactly what he's going to do, but Ice Arrow is nearby. He's able to get the turret. 1 EQ will get the knock up, but he misses it. The slow isn't going to be enough. He tries to use his Weaver's Wall, but my friend, if you get damaged when you do that, you fall, mate. It gets cancelled, and he does fall down, which means for the next 40 seconds, there is no mid laner. There is no AP threat on the side of WSLA. Can DV force something?
Oh, the issue is the competition. Not many tools to force by that On and the Jarvan. But what they can do is position around this Baron and make the side of WSLA really feel kind of like scared to approach them. And when you're able to set up kind of a fortress with a Nivea and a Caitlyn, it's going to be so hard to engage on that when they've got the vision control around themselves. And right now, they have that mid lane priority. They're looking to try and abuse it as they push into this mid lane turret. However, Festive, he's in 4 seconds. What have DV really done with that time? And they've pushed, and that's it.
A lot of problems here for WSLA. They've got to make something happen, or do they? Are they going to outscale? There's a lot of questions that they're thinking. I think really it's just going to be about execution of these team fights, the use of the Weaver's Wall, the use of the plants of Zyra, and how these fights really turn. Ice Tower's had a fantastic game so far on this Jarvan. Really, it's just going to be about this Baron dance once more, trading these small objectives. It's looking like a long one for the final game of these series. Nobody wants to lose, but who wants to win? That's the question.
Yeah, the question is who. It's such a tough one. Now, Ornhorn coming out.
Looking for something, goes on to GuiJ, gets caught. Ice Hours in range. The knockup from Jonjo misses, but the knockup from Jarvan doesn't, and Franklin's able to take down GuiJ. A lot of damage from Zyra, but in the end, Festive able to get the kill on the enemy jungler, which means no junglers are alive for potential Baron. And now it's all about the fight. Slacking potentially looking for a roam. Weaver's Wall no longer available. It's going to be about this unstoppable force of Slacking. Will he find something, or will both teams look to disengage as Archie really wants to back? Looks like both teams are just going to say, no, it's okay. Jungle for jungle, another trade, no objective. We'll just keep this going.
Yeah, and GuiJ had a great performance game 2 being proactive, but it turns out, like I said, the midst of that game, he's mispositioning so much, and that's such a crucial mistake. I feel like I keep seeing him dying when he just shouldn't be in places like. And Ice Arrow similarly, I feel like he's trying to make these engages happen, and sometimes that goes against him. And both these junglers, who were the strong point to me, Ice Arrow in game 1 and GuiJ in game 2, now both starting to falter as they need to be the key person who makes these engages, and they're both not really able to make them happen right now.
I was criticising Yetz's build, but then I just saw GuiJ's build and so he went Runic Echoes straight into a Warmogs, and my friend, he's only got 2,500 health. Why are you buying Warmogs? That's a problem when you're not getting that passive.
Well, it'll pay off in about 500 health's time. But, oh, look at this.
This could be the catch. The CC chain goes down onto Ice Arrow. The final auto attack is bound to pick him up the shield. Not going to be enough as that final bomb comes. Yes, gets his reset. The jungler's dead. They turn onto the Baron. But with an Anivia, with a Zyra, with an Ornn, there's so many ways to turn this around. We've seen Jonjo steal a Baron with an Ornn before. Can he do it again? Are they going to look to contest? They've got to get them off it. They've got the ability to do it even without a jungler. Here comes the Ornn going in. Gets a 2-man knockup. Yes, it's so low. Now it's about what Franklin can do. Jonjo goes into the backline. GuiJ misses his ultimate. So does Slacking with the nice Anivia wall. Lollyful turning this round well. The enemy jungler's dead. GuiJ is down and so is Slacking. Jonjo now looking onto the backline. What can Festive and Tristana do? The Slacking zombie that goes down too. They stop the Baron. They continue the chase. The actually falling down. Doesn't have the attack speed. Gets a knockup. No, he flashes away from it. The Caitlyn ultimate will not get it either. Full now looking for the chase, trying to get these 3 members down. The rocket jump does a lot, so does the Morg binding to stop Full continue its chase. Festive forced to flash over the wall in the end. No Baron taken, but a lot of kills for Deja Vu.
Yeah, and my goodness. The big play there is the Ornhorn crucially lands on Yetz whilst he's tanking the Baron, which means at the start of that fight, instantly Yetz is forced to burn his jump out, and he's stuck on half health, which means that AD carry, that big scaling team fighter that we were expecting to pop off, was not in that fight. So crucially, they had a huge lack of damage, and that meant that players like Lollyful and Franklin just did not feel threatened in that back line, and it meant they could get all their damage off onto the likes of Slacking and GuiJ. So in the end, ends up being, I believe, a 2-0, and they get them off that Baron. And it's just such an even game. It feels like they're getting the worst of these trades in the end, but Deja Vu, they're never really doing anything when they win these trades. They're kind of just getting it and being like, yeah, okay, we won this. Then do nothing. You need to be able to secure things when you win trades like that. You need to be able to secure priority, get vision around the map, start to fortify areas like that Baron pit, but they still fail to be doing that when we're 34 minutes into the game, and that's a crucial part of macro that you need to have if you want to be a successful team.
It is indeed, and once again the Baron dance starts. Festive is bot lane without TP. Sion is top lane with, well, he does have TP, but on the other side of the map, so right next to Baron, and it allows DV to get this Baron side vision. But are they going to answer Festive, or are they just going to let him get it? DV have got to make a decision now. It's a good thing that what WSLA are doing to force them to have to do it. But what is the decision? They're pinging Baron, WSLA. They know they've got the ward there. What's the play? Sion looking for a flank, but here comes the Ornhorn. Ice Tower goes in onto Yetz. Nice flash, make sure it happens. The knockup, the Gragas Flask is going to keep Yetz alive, but the chase comes down. Yetz is falling really, really low. You've got to look out. The final attack from Franklin, the huge crit means Yetz falls down, but look at the solo laners. They're still pushing. There's only 2 left alive of GuiJ and Stronger in this mid lane, but both side lanes are having so much pressure. There's no Baron minions, and this AP Gragas, or slightly AP Gragas, is going to do well at clearing lanes. It could be an inhibitor for inhibitor, either. Slacken maybe needs to be here to try and defend it. The more grinding lands onto Jarvan underneath the turret, but the turret just falls down and they're going to focus the inhibitor on his Rico to try and get Festive off the wave, but he is able to get the turret. The knockback from Festive will keep him alive. The knock-off is there, but they're continuing the chase. Are they going to try and race for the end of the game? Sion's Rico to stop it happening, but here's a TP from Only. Want to win the game. Franklin takes down the turret. Slacken doesn't use his ultimate to try and knock up Jonjo, but the Glacial Storm will stop them from engaging. This looks like the end of a fight. Very closely played there. A lot of decisions have to be made, but Slacken gets caught onto the trap. A lot of damage coming through. This is continuing to go on a knife's edge. There is no cask available for GuiJ to look for, but there is the Slacken unstoppable force if they want to chase. But in the end, they are able to get the inhibitor and a Nexus turret without losing an inhibitor bot lane or top. A lot of decisions to be made now. They're going to try and get vision around Baron. Baron, this is looking close.
It really is, and now they are positioned to win that Baron, but once again, DV, they could have pulled the trigger there, but they don't.
But it's a TP for Slacken in the bot lane, but Jarvan's already there. A recall from Anivia, a TP from... I think that is Anivia TP, and Slacken just trying to try and brute force his inhibitor down. They're going to stop them from doing Baron, but is that maybe they call the WSLA one? They've burnt the TPs. They could potentially start the Baron, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Slacken using his zombie to try and get the inhibitor. On trying to stop WSLA from getting the Baron. It's a huge shot call here as Ice sprints up to the Baron to try and take this one down. It's currently on 5,500 health. On drops the on-horn. Doesn't get a knock up onto anybody because of the Black Shield. Ice Arrow's around, he's stolen every Drake so far. And he gets it again! Ice Arrow steals the Baron. It's absolutely huge. And the fight continues. Ice Arrow will fall down, but Majordan 2 and Jonjo's here as well. Caitlyn's nowhere near the fight yet, and Festive is still alive. This could turn dramatically if nothing else happens. But they're going to run towards mid lane with these Baron-powered minions, with the Anivia, with the Caitlyn, as Ice Arrow once again steals a neutral objective. We said better jungle wins, and in this game it seems to be the case.
That is so huge. That smite steal turns it completely around. It means that Deja Vu, they have Baron buffed super minions knocking on the base of WSLA. WSLA, they're going to need a miracle play now to stop that Nexus from going down.
GuiJ has cast available. Slacken looking to try and get them off it, but Franklin doing so much damage. GuiJ trying to eliminate someone from the fight, but Ice Arrow with an insane Cataclysm EQ combo takes down Talia. Slacken's going to fall down too. Ice Arrow gets knocked down. Team members from WSLA down. This is going to be the end of the game. It's a huge crit from DV, from Franklin to take down Tristana. What a series, my friends. It's WSLA. They're about to lose their inhib. They say no. They steal the Baron from a fantastic WSLA call with Ice Arrow being absolutely clutch. And in the end, DV take down WSLA 2-1 in a fantastic series. Byron, who's your man of the match? Who is your MVP for this insane series?
I mean, is it I don't want to give it to Ice Arrow because he had a very rough game too. But at the same time, those smite steals, he stole like 5 objectives from GuiJ that game. That is so crucial. And in the end, it wins in the game, and his objective taking was really good. I think Franklin also had a very solid performance. I don't think I remember seeing him in the game where he was clearly the problem or was losing. The issue is that he didn't really do much in a lot of these games, and Loriful also had a fantastic performance game 1. Let's not forget that. However, yeah, I have to say Ice Arrow with those smite steals clutches out for me. He has to be the MVP here.
Has to be indeed. Fantastic performance from him. Looked a little bit rocky at stages, but he came in clutch when his team needed it. But you've got to give WSLA some commiserations. A fantastic game put up from them. They got hard demolished in game 1. They brought it back in game 2 and showed that they weren't to be messed with. Game 3 came down to a knife's edge. Loads of different macro calls and mechanical outplays that made this game as close as it was. But in the end, you can't argue with the fact that the better team won at the end of the day. Deja Vu take the series 2-1, become 2-1 in the league to even up with WSLA. They're right up there at the top. Fantastic series from them. I mean, I've got no other words to say, but well played to both teams. Byron, sign this one off.
All right, thank you guys for coming. Incredibly close series, and it just shows the clear strengths of a lot of these difficult teams and how close this league really is. I mean, there are very much ways that WSLA took that third game and would have took the series, and the same way for DV looked so strong in that game 1 in the first place. So really what this shows me is that the competition is heating up in Silver Gold. A lot of people going to discount this league saying, oh, not a skill, but look at these games. They're so entertaining to watch, and it's going to make me want to tune in, week out, to see how these teams evolve and adapt, because I was sure these teams, they did well, but they're going to shore up these weaknesses with their coaching staff. And so I imagine that these aren't the final forms of DV and WSLA. They'll be looking to improve from these games. They both certainly have pointers to look at. So, I mean, my question to you guys is you got to come and watch this, because these teams, they're going to be incredibly strong come the end of the split. And you're seeing it here now. The potential is huge.
It is indeed. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast of me, Drigger, with him, Byron. First time I think we've ever done a two-man cast together without NA. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for Thursday as we see even more exciting games for our Gold Platinum League. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been Byron Villa, been X Drigger. Over and out. Peace.